Golden Age Radio is starting now. Subscribe to get future updates.
Hey everybody, get ready for some great shows. Starting out with Cavalcade of America, Lux Theater with some great Hollywood stars, Groucho Marx, one of the best comedians in history, and also followed by the hilarious Red Skelton.
The Cavalcade of America, presented by DuPont. Among America's well-known men are many who came from Europe to try their fortunes and make their homes in this land of opportunity. One of the most appealing and important of these was a German Swiss named John A. Sutter. Although he is known chiefly because gold was discovered on his California property, Sutter's life was actually spent as a pioneer, a homemaker, and a farmer. For centuries, alchemists had tried unsuccessfully to make gold from base metals and failed. DuPont chemists have learned to make products infinitely more valuable from cotton, wool, coal, and other everyday substances. As Sutter worked quietly and earnestly on the work that he believed more important than the discovery of gold, similarly, the research chemist is striving earnestly towards the ideal, which is summed up in the DuPont pledge: better things for better living through chemistry. As an overture, Don Voorhees and the DuPont Cavalcade Orchestra will play Allah's Holiday from Rudolf Frimmel's operetta, Katinka. The DuPont Cavalcade moves on. Johann August Sutter was born at Kandern in Baden, Germany, of Swiss parents in 1803. At the age of 31, he left his family in Burgdorf in the canton of Bern and set out for the New World to make his fortune. He landed at New York, pushed westward to St. Louis, and from there he was soon traveling as a trader over the famous Santa Fe Trail. Most of the American Southwest was then Mexican territory, and in the summer of 1835, we find Sutter crossing what was then the boundary line between the United States and Mexico. At this outpost, a crowd, attracted by the dust cloud raised by his wagon wheels, is at the gate.
¡Los americanos! ¡Los caros! ¡La caballera de los americanos! Oh, easy now, easy. Excuse me, senor, but could you tell me where I can find the head of the government in Santa Fe?
I am the alcalde here, senor.
Oh, but I am Tom Silver, with a caravan of merchandise from St. Louis. I'm glad to stretch my legs after riding so long.
You are an Americano, senor.
I am Swiss, but I hope to become an American.
Ah, senor, you should be a Mexican. That is a great country, the land of opportunity.
What more could I ask in the fine land of the American West?
Ah, then you have never seen California.
California? Well, I've heard of it. Is it all they claim?
Senor, there is no place to equal it. I cannot wait to return. Beauty, fertility, it has everything. And the climate, senor, the climate of California.
Speaking of climate, do you mind if we get a little in out of the sun, huh?
Perdon me, senor. My attic is close by. We shall find cooler shade there. Come. Enter, senor.
Thank you.
Sit down, senor.
If you'll excuse me, I should like to present my passports, pay my duties, and tend to my business here. Afterward, I will be glad to hear more of California.
You can hear all about California in one word, senor. I would rather be a peon in California than a free man anywhere else in the world.
Well, that should be easy for an alcalde to arrange.
Alas, no. The Mexican government has other ideas, senor. It thinks I have value here.
Well, I hope my cargo has some tenth your value, alcalde.
Well, we need almost everything here. So no matter what you bring, it will quickly be converted into gold and silver.
Oh, then I shall be as lucky as King Midas, without his curse.
Pardon me. King Midas? Who is he?
Oh, he is in a story I used to tell my children. A miser who wished that everything he touched would turn into gold.
But, senor, where is the curse in that?
Well, a man cannot eat and drink gold, senor. And when King Midas touched food...
Ah, see, I understand. He turned to gold and he starved. That is a good story. But fortunately in California, the greatest riches come from its golden sunlight.
Oh, then someday I will go to California. To me, there is no gold so fine as a field of wheat ripening in the summer sun.
3 years later, John A. Sutter started for California by way of the Oregon Trail. Arriving in Vancouver in October, he found that he couldn't get south by land until spring, so he boarded a ship bound for Honolulu. From there, he went to Sitka, Alaska, which was then Russian territory, with a load of merchandise. With the supplies he received in exchange, he sailed south, and at last entered the picturesque city of Monterey, the capital of Mexican California. In the patio of the bright adobe headquarters, Sutter is received by the governor, Alvarado.
Senor Sutter, your papers are in good order. And the letters you bring me from my friends in Honolulu speak most highly of you. What do you want of me?
I understand you are granting land. I want a place where I can make myself a home. I'll take land you cannot govern easily because it's far away.
Will you be responsible for keeping order there?
Yes, and it will be like an outpost for you to protect your lands along the seacoast.
Let me see. There is the Sacramento Valley. Some say it is beautiful and fertile, very far away. I think it might do you very well.
I am ready to start any time.
You are very confident, senor.
I like action.
Senor, you go select your land. If you still want it a year from today, come back. Then I will make you a citizen of California and the ruler of your own land.
The taunt cavalcade moves forward. The land John Sutter selected was in the beautiful valley where the American River flows into the Sacramento. With earnest and justice, he gained the confidence of the Indians who lived there. They helped him and his white followers to build homes, plant fields, and tend herds of cattle and sheep. In a year, Governor Alvarado made him owner and ruler of the great farm empire he was founding. As the years slipped by, men came inland from the coast, not wandering trappers, but home builders. In August of 1847, Sutter is in his headquarters as John Bidwell, his right-hand man, comes into the room.
Oh, Captain Sutter.
Yeah? Yes, Bidwell?
Sorry, sir. I didn't mean to interrupt your writing.
Oh, I have just finished. I've been writing to my wife and family back in Switzerland. It's been so long since I've seen them.
Oh, they'll soon be able to join you. We've had a fine crop of wheat everywhere. The herds have increased by thousands. You're the owner of one of the most fertile valleys on earth.
Yeah, I have everything in goods, but as yet no money. Even my supplies from Monterey must be paid for in beaver skins, salmon, and tallow.
You'll have plenty of cash one of these days. Every acre of your land is fertile, even the mountains.
Yeah.
And your trees are already full-grown and plentiful. That's what I came to see you about.
We cannot sell trees. Everybody has trees.
Oh, I mean we need them for ourselves. We have such a good harvest, we've got to make new threshing floors at all the farms. It'll take too long to hew the timber and smooth it by hand. We've got to have a sawmill.
Yeah? There.
Well, there's a good fall of water at American Fork.
Well, that's 40 miles from here.
I'll build you a road to it.
Yeah, but then who will build the mill?
There's a good man who's been working on the flour mill with me, name of James Wilson Marshall.
Yeah? Send for him.
He's right outside.
I might have known you'd lose no time, Bidwell.
Come in, Marshall. Thanks. I'll do, Captain.
Fine. Sit down.
Thanks.
Yeah. So, you want to build a sawmill on the American Fork, eh?
Sure I will.
Yeah. So how much?
Well, I don't want to be paid in any of the tin money you use around here.
Why? That's the best money there is.
But just pieces of tin with stars stamped on them?
Yeah, but every star means a full day's work. When a full day's work is equal to a fixed amount of wheat, land, or cattle, we've got a full schedule.
Why not give out the goods instead of the tin coins?
Because a man out here can only eat so much food and look after a few cattle of his own. So, when he wants to save credit for the future, he takes the coin.
Yes, but that kind of money's no good for credit outside of here.
It would be if the world had any sense.
As long as it ain't, I'll pass up your tin money.
Well, what's your proposition for building and managing a sawmill?
1/2 of all the timber cut in it.
Huh? Yeah, sounds fair to me. Hey, Bidwell?
I think it is.
All right, then. Draw up the agreement, Bidwell.
Yes, sir.
I'll make a note of it in my diary. I should think, Marshal, it should be as well off with our tin coins as a pile of lumber out here in the woods.
Well, I can turn that lumber into gold in San Francisco.
Money is scarce even there.
Yes, it's strange no gold has been found in California. Well, maybe it's here, but just buried too deep for our plowing and digging to turn up.
I'd give half my land for enough of it to bring my family over here. You know, sometimes I get so lonely for my wife and children. I wish every blade of wheat and every head of cattle were made of solid gold.
Might as well make a good wish while you're at it, Captain. Wish it with the stones in the Sacramento.
You can laugh, but it isn't funny to me.
Well, here's the agreement about the sawmill. If you men don't mind waking up from your pipe dreams, you can sign your names here. Maybe the sawmill will change your luck, Captain. There may be real money in those woods.
I only want enough to bring my family here to me.
The work at the sawmill progressed slowly. After the mill race was dug, there was trouble with the tail race. The stubborn rock made it hard to dig deep and wide enough to carry the water from the mill. Meanwhile, California became a part of the United States, and the wild new territory now flew the American flag. On January 24th, 1848, Marshall comes into Sutter's Fort in great excitement.
Captain Sutter.
Eh? Oh, hello, Marshal. You look all head up as though it was summer.
Are we alone?
Yeah?
I'll bolt the door.
Hey, you're very secret and mysterious, Marshal. What are you so excited about?
This.
Looks just like an old dark bottle to me.
Take it up. Look what's in it.
Well, it's heavy. Why?
It is. It's gold. Gold.
How do you know? Have you tested it? Maybe it's fool's gold.
Feel the weight of it. Bite into it. I beat it with rocks. It's malleable, soft, and heavy. It's gold, I tell you.
Yeah, where did you get it?
In the tail race of the sawmill. The gravel's full of it. It's everywhere. You're a rich man. You're worth millions. Billions.
I'm not so sure of that.
It's your land, isn't it?
I don't know. It was when California was Mexican country, but now it's occupied by the United States. I don't know for certain whose it is.
Well, can't you do something to make sure?
Yeah, well, I can send a copy of my lease to the American governor for official approval.
Do it quick. There's no time to lose.
I'll do it now. You can take it to the governor.
No, I got to get back to the sawmill.
Then I'll send Bennett.
We got to keep the secret.
Don't the men know what you found?
They've watched me, but they think it's just scraps. Not worth losing their pay for. A day's pay. Why, I can pick up more than that in 15 minutes.
Good.
You'll have everything you want in the world now, Captain. If you can just keep it secret and move fast.
As Sutter watched Charles Bennett sail down the Sacramento River to get official confirmation of his lease of land from the Indians, he knew it would be no easy matter to keep the great bonanza secret. Bennett stops off at Benicia on his way down the river to Monterey and drops into Pfister's general store to hear the news of the day.
Hello there, Pfister.
Well, hello, Bennett. What's the news from Sutter's fort?
Well, the flour mill's nearly finished. We're waiting for the millstones.
He'll have a long wait. In fact, that one of the stones broke down. Say, here, Sutter's building a sawmill.
Yep. He's got plenty of fine timber to be cut for the asking.
Timber, huh? Plenty of that around here. Too bad he didn't have real luck like they had over to Monte Diablo.
What's that?
Coal. They found coal there, scads of it. I tell you, man, California's going to be a great state someday.
Coal. Sure, that's nothing.
It's one Sutter's got.
Oh, no, it ain't. Not by a darn sight.
You fellas up the valley are just dirt farmers, digging crops out the ground as if there ain't no frost or drought or flood. Now, coal...
Oh, we got something a heap sight finer and better than coal. Here, get a knife full of this.
Well, what's that?
What do you think it is?
It looks like gold. Is it gold?
I ain't saying it is, I ain't saying it ain't.
Well, there must be 6 ounces of it. That's a lot of money. Where'd you get it?
Well, I ain't come from no place but Sutter's.
Gosh, old Jupiter. Gold. Boys, come on over here, sir. It's on the ground and you have to dig for it. What's around, Pfister? Look at this. Just look at it.
Look at what? What is it?
Gold. Gold.
Bennett dashes on for Monterey and sees the military governor. While he is making the return trip, a wagoner comes into the saloon run by D.C. Smith at Sutter's Fort.
Oh, there's Smith. Set him up.
No, not me, Joe. You owe me for the last time.
Oh, set him up, I tell you. I'll take your word for what I owe you.
I'll take your money for it before I pour you a drop.
Money, is it? Well, here. Take this.
What's that?
Gold.
Gold. Where did you get it?
I was up to the sawmill with some supplies. Just picked this up at lunchtime.
Joe, you're a thief.
Yeah, and you're a fool.
Yeah, I would be if I thought gold was lying around waiting to be picked up for the asking.
Well, you're a fool if you don't believe it. Tell you everybody up there's picking up some of it when they got nothing better to do.
Nothing better than you idiot. What else could be better than picking up gold without work? It's just some of that fool's gold.
There won't be fool's gold until it belongs to you, Smith.
No, you can't talk me into giving you any more credit, Joe. Now, you take that gravel somewhere else. Go on, get out of here.
But it's the real thing, I tell you. Well, here's Captain Sutter. Just come in. You can ask him. He knows about it.
Captain!
Yeah, but what's going to rumpus here, Smith?
Captain, this fella here says there's gold at your sawmill.
Oh, so you heard about it already, eh?
Is that it?
Tell him it is, Captain. I picked it up in the tail race, same as everybody else. It's a genuine article, ain't it?
Yeah, it's gold right enough.
Hey, is there much of it there?
I'm afraid there's a great deal of it.
You're afraid? Why, Captain Sutter, let me congratulate you, sir. You'll be the richest man in California. Hey, is the captain here? Oh, there you are, Captain.
Bennett, I'm glad you're back. What luck, huh?
Well, sir, you see, Captain, sir?
Oh, the governor refused, eh?
Oh, no, sir. Not exactly refused, sir. You see, California ain't Mexican now, and it ain't exactly part of the United States yet either.
Yeah?
Ain't no laws apply here now. Governor Mason says he couldn't confirm your lease if he wanted it.
Oh, I see. Then until the United States takes over, there's no real authority in California.
Well, of course they'll confirm your land for sure then, but meanwhile...
Yeah, I understand. Meanwhile, we're all just squatters.
Well, I reckon I'll be getting back to the sawmill.
wait a minute, I'll go with you.
You'll be needed in the fields tomorrow, Bennett.
I'll be working on in the gold fields from now on, Captain. Come on, Joe.
Yes.
Smith, pour me a brandy.
What's the matter, Captain? You don't seem pleased. You ought to be jumping with joy. Why, you'll be the richest man in the world. Everybody says so.
I'll be lucky if I have enough left at Hook Farm to make a good home for my family now.
I don't understand, Captain. Surely all this gold really belongs to you. Well, I heard him call it Sutter's gold.
Yeah, but they'll take it for their own just the same, and nobody can stop them.
Ah, there must be enough for all.
And the more there is, the poorer I'll be. Don't you see? They will come here by hundreds, by thousands. All my workers will leave me. The wheat will rot in the fields. My sheep and my cattle will wander away into the wilderness. They will be shot for food by anyone who is hungry. Miles and miles of land, all lost for gold. Like the story I used to tell my children. King Midas, with his golden touch.
Yeah, I see, Captain. Well, help yourself to anything you want, Captain. I'm going after the boys to see if I can find some gold myself.
In 1849, the gold rush started in earnest. 42,000 prospectors thronged Sutter's lands, maintaining squatter sovereignty. His lands were no longer wilderness. They were overrun by a horde of people, many of them lawless and wild. In 1852, Sutter was joined by his wife Anna and their children. He brought them to Hook Farm, which was all that was left of his land grant. One evening a year later, John Sutter and Anna were standing on a porch in front of their modest farmhouse.
You are very silent, Johann. Is it because the view is so quiet and beautiful?
No, Anna. I was just thinking how many long years I've worked to bring you and the children to California. I thought to make you a great lady here. I thought I had everything. And then they find gold. And when you get here, I have nothing.
This is a nice farm, Johann, and I like it.
It was just a little corner of my land. And I wanted so much for you and the children.
Look. Look, here comes a horseman at full gallop.
Yeah. But it's our boy John. Something must be wrong.
Maybe he brings us good news.
There is no good news anymore, Anna.
Father!
Yeah.
Father! Whoa, boy! Whoa! Father, I've got news from Sacramento.
Yeah. What is it?
The Supreme Court has decided the land is all yours. All of the first grant.
All?
Father, you're a great man again.
Your father has always been a great man.
You'll be rich again, Father.
No, I'm afraid it is too late. I shall always be poor.
But why? The land is yours.
Yeah, but how am I going to get it? Thousands of squatters are living on it. They say it is theirs.
Yes, but you can make them give it back.
That will take money.
Money? Why, all that gold is yours.
Not until I get every squatter off my land and move in myself. That means fighting every one of them, one by one, through the courts.
Father, all that land and gold, all ours. And we can't touch it.
Yeah, it's the curse of the golden touch, son. My sheep and cattle, my fields of wheat and corn, even the view up the Sacramento Valley. Everything turned to gold.
No, Johann. Not everything.
Anna, what is left?
We are left, Johann.
Oh, forgive me, Anna. I was only thinking of what I wanted for you.
I have all I want, Johann. A good home and my family all together.
Anna, I should have known. I have no gold, but I am still the richest man in the world.
Sutter's work was not done. With the more stable early Californians, he saw the need of government. He sat as a delegate in the convention that drafted the state constitution and presided at its first session. As a man whose courage and enterprise brought wealth and opportunity to millions, and as a pioneer in the founding of one of the great states of the Union, DuPont salutes John A. Sutter as a gallant leader in the Cavalcade of America.
In Sutter's time, hardy adventurers dug into California's hills seeking riches buried by nature. Today, another kind explorer, the research chemist, is at work in DuPont laboratories exploring nature's innermost secrets, making discoveries even more important to you and to me than veins of gold. Because these chemical discoveries mean greater comfort, convenience, and enjoyment for people everywhere. This evening we announce another such development, an achievement of DuPont chemists that is real news for every person who owns or drives a truck or automobile. Let's hear how a chemist describes it.
DuPont chemists have developed a new rayon yarn for use in automobile tires. DuPont's name of this new rayon yarn is Cordura, and it has a tensile strength as great as steel wire of the same cross-section. Tires made with it have been tested exhaustively, and results show 4 to 5 times more mileage, plus greater safety.
4 to 5 times more mileage with greater safety at the same time. That is news indeed. Many tests were made on trucks and other motor vehicles under the most stringent conditions of heavy loads and high speeds. Tire makers point out that one of the main virtues of this new cord, made of DuPont rayon, is that it stands up so much longer under the extreme heat which develops inside a tire when it is run steadily under heavy loads at high speed. And all tests prove that it will stand more flexing without breaking down, which is another important quality. At present, the output of DuPont's new Cordura rayon yarn is limited, and nearly all of it is going into heavy-duty truck and bus tires. However, production is being expanded as rapidly as possible, which means work for more people and eventually greater tire service and safety for all of us. Not so long ago, 5,000 miles was considered good mileage for a tire. But since that time, the tire manufacturer and chemists have made remarkable progress toward better tires. Construction methods have been improved, and DuPont produces chemicals that help reduce the cost of tires by speeding up vulcanizing time. Other DuPont chemical compounds make rubber tougher and help tires combat their natural enemies, heat, sunlight, and the oxygen in the air, all of which cause rubber to break down. And now DuPont chemists have developed this new type of rayon yarn, Cordura. One more outstanding illustration of how DuPont chemists are making good their pledge, better things for better living through chemistry. George Washington, scientific farmer, will be the subject of next week's broadcast. This coming Sunday, April 25th, many communities will change to daylight saving time. If your city or town does not adopt daylight saving, remember that next Thursday, the Cavalcade of America, presented by DuPont, will come to you 1 hour earlier. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Enjoying the timeless classics on Golden Age Radio? If you're loving the nostalgia and captivating stories, consider supporting our channel with a tip. Your generosity helps us continue bringing you the best of vintage radio entertainment. Simply click on the link in the description.
From Hollywood, California, the Lux Radio Theater presents Merle Oberon and Walter Houston in The Letter with Ralph Forbes and Eric Snowden.
Lux presents Hollywood. Our sincere thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for your loyal purchases of the products which make this program possible. Lux Flakes and Lux Toilet Soap. Tonight we bring you Merle Oberon, Walter Houston, Ralph Forbes, and Eric Snowden in The Letter, a grand love story, a thrilling melodrama set against the background of far-off Malay. As guests, you'll hear Carveth Wells, famous author and explorer, and his wife. Our orchestra is conducted by Louis Silvers. And now, the producer of the Lux Radio Theater. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cecil B. DeMille.
Greetings from Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. Our play tonight ranks among the most distinguished works of one of the finest writers of our time, William Somerset Maugham, whose contributions to the screen include not only The Letter, but such memorable dramas as Rain, The Painted Veil, and Of Human Bondage. Educated to be a doctor, he received his degree but never practiced. He turned at once to writing and travel. The author of many great novels and more than 25 plays, he served during the war in the British Secret Service. Few writers have a keener appreciation of detail, and the notebooks he carries are crammed with notes so copious that Mr. Maugham usually has about 10 years' work planned in advance. The scene of the letter is Malay, a neighbor of India, in whose city of Calcutta, Merle Oberon, daughter of a British Army officer, lived for several years. Miss Oberon came to London when 17, determined to reach the screen. She had $100 and a steamship ticket back to India. Her money gone, she sold her ticket and wound up by working in London's Café de Paris. Bit parts in pictures later brought her to the attention of Alexander Korda and to ultimate stardom. Her screen activities today are divided between Mr. Korda in England and Mr. Samuel Goldwyn in Hollywood. Merle has taken leave of Continental cameras for a while and soon co-stars with Gary Cooper in the Goldwyn film, The Girl and the Cowboy. One of the screen's most striking beauties, Merle is slightly over 5 feet tall, weighs 112 pounds, has chestnut hair, hazel green eyes, and a slightly Irish tilt to her nose. Tonight she plays the role of Leslie Crosby. Walter Houston, currently starring in Of Human Hearts, is heard as Robert Crosby. Ralph Forbes becomes Jeffrey Hammond, and Eric Snowden is Howard Joyce. It's curtain time now, and the Lux Radio Theater presents Merle Oberon and Walter Houston in The Letter with Ralph Forbes and Eric Snowden. At the southern tip of the Malay Peninsula lies the city of Singapore, where harbor lights wink gaily beneath the starry brightness of the tropic sky, where people of many races mingle in hopeless confusion, where rickshaws whirl through narrow, crowded streets. Singapore, the crossroad of the East. A few hours north through the mangrove swamps are the great rubber plantations, kingdoms of commerce governed by a handful of white men. In a house on one of these plantations, a light burns softly. Although it's only 10 o'clock, the windows have been screened and shuttered for the night. There's a deep silence. Suddenly, a man's laughter is heard. And then...
Miss Crosby! Miss Crosby! Miss Crosby, I hear some shot. It sounds like... Oh, that man. He is...
Yes. He's dead, Chung.
You shoot him, Miss Crosby?
Yes, I've killed a thief.
A thief? But he was...
I've killed a thief, Chung. Do you understand? He tried to break into the house, and I killed him.
Yes, Miss Crosby. I understand. Please.
You'd better call my husband. He's down in Singapore at Mr. Joyce's office. Ask him to come right away, and then call the police.
Police? Yes, Miss Crosby. I call.
Well, of course, if you really want to buy that plantation, I'll handle it for you.
Yes, I want it, Howard. I've had my eye on it for a long time now, and I want it.
Oh, just a minute, will you? Yeah. Hello? Yes. Oh, yes. Yes, hold on. It's for you, Bob.
Me? Oh. Hello? Yes, Chung? Yes, this is Mr. Crosby. What? No, I can't hear you, Chung. Speak louder, will you? What about Mrs. Crosby? She did what? Good Lord.
What is it, Bob?
Wait a minute. Hello? Hello? Where is she now? Can she come to the phone? All right. Never mind. Tell her I'll be there just as soon as I can. Yes, I'm leaving now.
Is there something wrong?
Yes, it's Leslie. I left her alone tonight. Someone must have broken into the house and she shot him.
Is he dead?
Yes, the police are on their way there now. I'll have to leave, Howard.
Well, wait a moment. Perhaps I'd better come along with you.
No, I don't think it'll be necessary.
Perhaps not, but you can never tell. Come along.
You say you didn't hear a sound until you heard the shots. Is that right, Chung?
Hear nothing, Sergeant. Hear nothing. Just shot.
What were you doing when you heard them?
Cleaning teeth, like they teach us Christian school.
You didn't hear Mrs. Crosby scream?
I didn't scream, Sergeant Jenkins. I told you. I heard this man prowling around out here in the living room. I knew it was too early for my husband to be back,
So
and...
you got the gun from your bureau drawer just as he opened the door into your bedroom and entered. Did you say anything to him, or he to you?
Not a word. He saw me standing there with the gun and started towards me. So I pulled the trigger.
You didn't say anything. I should think you'd have said hands up or stop or something. Even though he was a stranger.
I tell you, I never saw him before.
No offense, Mrs. Crosby. I must say you were pretty cool about the whole thing. Good nerves.
There wasn't much time to be anything but cool.
He must have been a cool person himself. Look here. Poured himself a glass of liquor from the decanter there. Here's the glass, half full.
How do you know he used it?
Unless you had a bit to steady yourself, Mrs. Crosby.
I? Oh, no.
I wonder why he didn't drink it all. I suppose that's your husband, Mrs. Crosby.
It must be.
Leslie, darling.
Here, Robert.
Oh, Leslie. God, I shouldn't have left you alone.
Don't worry, Robert. I'm quite all right, now that you're here.
Evening, Sergeant.
Well, hello there, Mr. Joyce.
Now, don't get that intent expression, Jenkins. I'm not here on business. Mr. Crosby was in my office when the call came. I just came along with him.
Oh, don't worry, Mr. Joyce. I know you don't have to chase your law cases.
Thank you, Jenkins.
Well, everything's settled, I guess. Except the man's identification. The man broke in, Mrs. Crosby heard him, and... Well, she's a mighty steady shot, Mr. Crosby.
Yes, thank God. And the first night I've been away for months.
You're usually here, Mr. Crosby?
Certainly. I've been here every night for the last 3 months. What do you mean, Sergeant?
Me? Oh, I was just wondering if he had any way of knowing that you were going to be away tonight.
It could have been chance, couldn't it?
He must have been a patient man if he's been on the lookout all these months, waiting until you were gone, Mr. Crosby.
If you mean that Mrs. Crosby was waiting for me to be gone...
Oh, Robert! Please, the sergeant implied nothing like that.
Well, I'm sorry, Sergeant.
I was just going to say that if he'd been waiting all this time, he surely didn't know Mrs. Crosby was such a wildcat. Pardon me, Mrs. Crosby. I mean such a good shot with a gun.
You've no idea who the man is, Sergeant?
Not yet. We'll tag him, though, when we get the body down to headquarters.
I imagine I know as many people as anybody around here. May I see him?
If you want to, sir. He's in that room over there.
Why does he have to be identified? Don't you believe he was a thief?
Why, certainly, Leslie.
No, she means why do any more tonight? I think she's gone through enough already.
If Mr. Joyce can identify him, it'll be less bother for Mrs. Crosby. The inquest will be held sooner.
The inquest? Don't you believe my story?
The inquest is only a formality, Mrs. Crosby. Certainly we believe your story. You'll just have to tell it to Mr. Bentley, the coroner, that's all.
You don't mind if they go in, Leslie?
No. No, of course not.
I'll have a look at him myself. You stay here, dear.
Right in here, sir. There he is. Now, if you'll stand over this way, you can see his face a little better. Well, Mr. Joyce?
Yes, I know him all right.
Who is he, Howard?
His name's Hammond. Jeffrey Hammond.
Hammond?
Jeffrey Hammond. And what do you know about him, sir?
Very little. I talked with him for a while in my office the other day. Ong, my assistant, sent him in.
Was this Hammond in trouble?
No, nothing to do with a criminal case. Just a slight matter of property, that's all.
Hey,
Quite all.
You don't suppose that he might have seen me there and got the idea for the robbery then?
Did he ask any questions about Mr. Crosby?
No, I don't think Hammond saw Mr. Crosby.
Well, if Ong knows him, he can come to make the identification and save you the trouble, Mr. Joyce. We'll hold the inquest at 10 tomorrow in Singapore. You'll see that your wife is there, Mr. Crosby?
Yes. I'll drive her down myself. It won't take long, darling. The sergeant said it was just a formality. We'll be in there a few minutes, and we'll be on our way back by noon.
Yes. Yes, we will, won't we?
What's the matter, dear?
Nothing. It's so hot, and I'm tired. I'm so desperately tired, Robert.
Yes, I know you are. I wish there was something I could do to help you. But there doesn't seem to be a thing.
You can love me, Robert.
Why, I've always done that.
Yes. But now I need your love more than ever.
Leslie, you're making this thing much more important than it really is.
I can't help it. It isn't easy to forget that you've killed a man.
Leslie...
You don't blame me, do you?
Blame you? For killing a thief? Why, he might have killed you first.
Yes. Yes, he might. What'll they do to me?
Oh, just ask a few questions, that's all. I'd like to see anyone try to do anything to you.
But people will talk, won't they? I hate the idea of everyone talking about me. Whatever they say, you'll never believe anything against me, will you?
What could they say?
I don't know. You heard the sergeant last night. He seemed to imply that I'd invited that man. People are so unkind sometimes. They'll say anything.
Leslie, look at me. You're my wife, and I love you. And because I love you, I also trust you. Wouldn't be much of a love if I didn't. Do you suppose I'd believe gossip against what you've already told me?
No. Thank you, Robert.
Now, come on. We're going in there and get this over with, and then we're going home. Let me help you out, darling.
Do I look that bad?
Well, you look a little pale.
Don't worry. I'll be rosy-cheeked and merry when I come back.
Of course you will.
Good morning, Leslie.
Oh, good morning, Howard.
Oh, hello, Howard. I thought Jenkins said you didn't have to come to the inquest.
Oh, I just thought I'd come along to lend a hand if I could.
Is there anything wrong?
No, but Coroner Bentley is apt to waste time on occasion.
Well, I hope he won't today.
Well, your hopes are dashed. He's put the inquest back an hour already.
Why?
You'll have to ask Bentley that. You run along inside, Bob. I want to talk to Leslie for a moment.
But why does Leslie need a lawyer?
I'm playing doctor, not lawyer. You're so nervous, you're making Leslie nervous. Now, go ahead.
Well, all right. And I'll see you right after the inquest, darling.
Well, Howard?
How do you feel?
Very well. Why?
Leslie, I don't want to pry into your business, but is there anything you'd like to speak to me about?
I thought you wanted to speak to me.
Well, just to ask you that. Are you sure there's nothing you'd like to tell me before we go in there?
What should there be to tell?
Nothing, I guess. Just keep your head and don't let them...
And that's all you have to tell us, Mrs. Crosby. That this man Hammond forced an entry and that you shot him.
Yes, that's all. May I go now, Coroner?
Just a few more routine questions, Mrs. Crosby. Just a few more routine questions.
Are you going to keep her here all day?
Oh, Bob, sit down. Mr. Crosby, while this inquest may seem a trifle informal to you, please remember that this is still His Majesty's court.
My husband is worried about me because of last night, Mr. Bentley. Go on, please.
Mrs. Crosby, do you recall that last night Sergeant Jenkins called your attention to the fact that this man Hammond had evidently poured some of the liquor from the decanter into the glass?
Yes. Sergeant Jenkins remarked that he must have been rather cool to take the time.
On the other hand, he might have felt in need of a stimulant and poured himself the glass for that reason.
Yes, very possibly.
Oh, what difference does that make?
Mr. Crosby, if there are any more interruptions, I must ask you to leave. Mrs. Crosby, I shall come to the point. I wish to ask, Why, your fingerprints were also upon that glass.
Quiet.
Well, Mrs. Crosby?
I see no reason why my prints shouldn't be there. Clean glasses take fingerprints as well as used glasses. It's probable that sometime during the day I arranged the glasses to make a more orderly appearance on the tray.
Yes, that is possible. Sergeant Jenkins didn't happen to think of that. But you see, Mrs. Crosby, when Sergeant Jenkins examined the prints upon the glass, after he brought it down here to headquarters, he was struck by the peculiar fact that your prints and Hammond's prints were found in such a position that it led him to believe that he had handed the glass to you or you to him.
You seem to be very sure they were my fingerprints, Mr. Bentley.
Well, we don't know that, of course, Mrs. Crosby. It'd be only in case of an arrest that we'd take them.
Then you think that I perjured myself here?
I ask only for any explanation you may wish to give.
You believe I sat and talked with this Jeffrey Hammond and then shot him?
Did you, Mrs. Crosby? Or rather, did you pour him the drink?
No, I did not. If I had, it would deny the story to which I have sworn. It's only sheer chance that placed the two sets of fingerprints in that position.
Then you deny that you ever knew Jeffrey Hammond. You deny that you ever saw or talked with him before last night.
I've sworn to that long ago.
Then, Mrs. Crosby, I wish to make a brief explanation. The inquest was delayed this morning because Sergeant Jenkins made another trip to your home after you and your husband had left.
Well?
Mrs. Crosby, can you offer a logical explanation as to why Hammond's fingerprints were not also found on the decanter? Why were only yours found upon it? Can you explain that, Mrs. Crosby?
You've got to let me think. There must be some reason.
Yes, and the reason is that you poured that drink for Hammond. You testified you never knew him, yet the facts prove that you poured him a drink. Can you explain it?
Yes!
Well?
I've known Jeffrey Hammond for years. He came to my house last night. We talked for a while and then...
And then you shot him?
Yes, I shot him. I shot him!
Mr. Coroner, I refuse to allow my client to testify further without benefit of counsel.
She may have counsel. Sergeant Jenkins, take the prisoner.
Leslie Crosby, you're under arrest for the murder of Jeffrey Hammond.
Mrs. Crosby?
Yes.
Your husband's here. Do you wish to see him?
Oh, yes, please.
5 minutes, Mr. Crosby. I'll be waiting out here.
Thank you.
Robert.
Leslie, I've been waiting to see you all day. They wouldn't let me come to you.
You wanted to come, Robert?
I've told Howard to take the case, to do everything he can to get you free.
You think I can get free?
He said he'd move heaven and earth. He's the finest lawyer in Singapore. If anyone can get you out of it, he can.
If anyone can get me out of it. Do you think I need a lawyer's tricks, Robert?
I don't know what you need, Leslie. Facts coming out the way they did, it made a rather bad impression. But we'll lick that. We'll fight together, the three of us.
You're going to be loyal, aren't you, Robert? Even though I lied to you, you're going to be loyal. You've swallowed all your pride and your doubts, and you've come here to stand by me. Because you believe it's your duty. But what are you thinking, Robert?
Leslie, I don't know what to think.
You haven't even asked me to explain. Is it because you've already made up your mind? Because you think that Jeffrey Hammond and I...
Don't, Leslie.
Yes. I knew that was it. I saw your face in the courtroom. I felt it when you came in here. Well, you needn't torture yourself any longer, Robert. Matron.
Yes?
My husband is leaving.
Leslie, you can't do this. I don't want an explanation. I just want you to tell me what...
My husband is leaving, Matron.
This way, Mr. Crosby.
We have just heard Act One of The Letter, starring Merle Oberon, Walter Houston, Ralph Forbes, and Eric Snowden. They'll return in a moment to present Act Two. Perhaps you have wondered about the hundreds of people who come here to see as well as hear our plays on Monday nights. Who are they? Movie stars, directors, extras, and people who make their home in Hollywood. Yes, and people from back home who are visiting the entertainment headquarters of the world. Tonight, during this intermission, we are going to introduce you to a member of our audience here in the Lux Radio Theater. She's on her way to the microphone now. Her name is Mrs. Mattie Thompson. Mrs. Thompson, what are you doing here in Hollywood?
I'm a visitor, Mr. Ruick.
How long have you been here?
Just exactly 4 days.
Where is your permanent home?
In St. Joe, Missouri.
Now tell us what brought you to Hollywood, Mrs. Thompson.
Curiosity, I guess. I've wanted to see Hollywood for as long as I can remember. And so the first chance we got, we came.
What did you want to see most in Hollywood?
Well, most of all, the stars themselves. And the big studios. And I've listened to the Lux Radio Theater so many times, I was dying to see it, too.
Not disappointed, I hope.
No, I'm thrilled to death. Imagine me talking into the same microphone as Merle Oberon and all those other stars. I hope my friends in St. Joe are listening.
Tell us, how did you get here from Missouri, by plane or train?
No, we came in a trailer.
Well, how do you like life in a trailer?
Oh, I love it. I have everything as convenient as can be. A real little kitchen. And I cook just like I do at home. Wash dishes, too, Mr. Ruick, with Lux Flakes.
Take your Lux along with you, eh?
I certainly do. Wouldn't be without it. Always keep a big box handy for nice things and dishes. Sometimes I don't have hot water, you know. And Lux Flakes are wonderful the way they suds up, even in cool water. I'd like to say this, too, that it's absolutely true what you tell us about Lux being better for your hands.
I'm glad to hear you emphasize that, Mrs. Thompson.
Yes, it's true, and last winter it was brought home to me very decidedly. I visited my sister-in-law and helped by washing dishes several days with the soap she used. It wasn't Lux. In just a few days, my hands were red and chapped, and my nails looked terrible. It certainly taught me to be grateful to Lux.
Thank you, Mrs. Thompson. We're very grateful for your loyalty to Lux Flakes, and we hope you get the most out of the rest of your stay here in Hollywood.
I'm going to do my best.
Fine. Now, our producer.
We continue with The Letter, starring Merle Oberon and Walter Houston with Ralph Forbes and Eric Snowden. It's 1 week later, the eve of Leslie's trial for the murder of Jeffrey Hammond. Her own lack of interest in the case has given rise to the rumor that she intends to plead guilty. Steadfastly, she's refused to see her husband, or the lawyer, Howard Joyce. But now, only 12 hours before the trial's to begin, Joyce walks through the corridor and stops at Leslie's cell.
That'll be all, matron. You can let me know when the time is up.
Yes, sir.
Leslie.
Why did you come here? I didn't ask you to come.
No, Robert did. Don't turn your back, Leslie. You've got to listen to me for his sake. Life isn't very pleasant for him these days.
Is it pleasant for me?
You can't help things by refusing to speak. Why didn't you tell Robert that you knew Jeffrey Hammond? Why didn't you tell me?
You mean if I had, I wouldn't be here now?
You'd be held in custody, yes, but not like this, not like a...
Like a common murderess. You said if I told you that I knew Jeffrey Hammond. Yet you must have known.
I did know, but you wouldn't give me your confidence. Hammond mentioned your name that day he came to my office.
Yes?
He said he'd known you back in England. Was that true? Was it?
Yes. Oh, why did he come here?
Leslie, please. I'm going to help you, but you have to help me, too. I want the whole story, Leslie. Everything. Will you tell me?
Yes. It is true that I knew Jeffrey Hammond back in England. Years ago, long before I met Robert. Jeffrey and I, we were engaged to be married.
Engaged? You loved him?
Yes. Oh, I thought I did. I hadn't known him very long. I knew very little about him. But everything I did know made me love him more. When he asked me to marry him, he gave me a bracelet. A diamond bracelet. It was very beautiful, and I was happy to think he thought so much of me. And then one morning, I was alone in my flat. The doorbell rang. Hello, darling.
Good morning, Leslie.
What are you doing here in the morning? Isn't your office open?
Well, I imagine so, Leslie. I've a bit of bad news. Where's that bracelet I gave you?
The bracelet? Well, I don't wear it all the time, Jeffrey.
Where is it?
It's in my bureau. Why?
Get it.
Why?
Because I need it.
You want it back?
Yes. You don't know the favor I'm doing you.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hasn't it occurred to you that it was rather an expensive bangle for a man like me to be buying?
But you bought it for my engagement.
I bought it. Yeah, that's good. Didn't I tell you never to wear it in public?
I've only worn it once, the other night at the theater.
Exactly. The one place Markow would see it. That bracelet, my dear, was stolen.
Stolen? Jeffrey, you're joking. You're not
A thief? No, not quite. Merely, shall I say, a broker. This Mr. Markow goes by another name in the very politest society. He gave me that bracelet along with some other stolen goods to sell for him. I kept out the bracelet, sold the rest, and added a few pounds of my own. He was quite satisfied until he saw that bracelet on your arm the other night. Oh, yes, he knows we were engaged. Now he believes I haven't played quite fair with him. You better give it to me, Leslie.
You were going to marry me and then tell me this?
Oh, now, Leslie. You really don't mean you didn't know?
How could I know? What have you ever told me that I should know?
Well, what difference does it make? You love me, don't you?
Love you? How can I?
Oh, nonsense. You fell in love with me, Leslie. With me, Jeffrey Hammond. That's all that matters. You'll forget about this. You will, won't you, Leslie?
Yes. I'll get the bracelet for you. When he told me that, everything crumbled. I left England the same night on a boat. I didn't tell him I was going. I just packed a bag and left. It was a boat to Singapore. And that's where I met Robert. He got on the boat at Port Said. He was coming back here to the plantation. We were just shipboard acquaintances until one evening near the end of the trip, we were standing at the rail, looking
You see along the shore over there how the jungle comes right down to the water's edge? Well, Miss Stevens, it's just like that on my rubber plantation. One moment it's cleared and civilized, and the next you're in the jungle.
Well, I hope the captain steers well clear of it. I'd hate suddenly to find myself facing the jungle.
Well, we have a saying out here that facing the jungle isn't as bad as facing Singapore itself.
How long is it since you've been back to civilization, Mr. Crosby?
If you mean England, I've never been. My father brought me out here from the States when I was a boy. After he died, I just never found time to get back. In fact, Port Said is the farthest away I've been in all that time. I'm glad, though, that I had to make the trip.
Why?
Well, if I hadn't, I wouldn't have met you.
How very gallant of you, Mr. Crosby.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not very much at ease with the women, Miss Stevens. If I've said anything that...
Oh, please don't. But I thought Singapore was full of attractive women.
Yes, it is, but, you you know what I mean. There are very few of the right kind of women. Most of them are married.
And I suppose their husbands guard them closely against the attentions of unattached males, such as you.
Well, most of the married women are smart enough not to give their husbands any cause for... Oh, now, you're joking, aren't you? I guess I have been in the wilds too long.
Do you really live such a prosaic life as you've been trying to make me believe?
Well, it isn't very exciting, if that's what you mean. We have a good background for romance and adventure, but our lives on the plantation are as colorless as the sap from the rubber trees.
As you described your life to me last night, it didn't sound very colorless.
Now, maybe you made me see it in a new light.
Are you sure it wasn't just the trip?
No,
being away?
I'm very sure. Miss Stevens, why don't you stop off as my guest at Singapore and come up to the plantation? You could stay over at my friend's, Howard Joyce and his wife. He's the best lawyer in Singapore. They'd like to have you. I know they would.
Thank you, but I really must go on with the boat. We're only stopping a day in Singapore.
But do you have to be in such a hurry? You could jump ship for a few days and catch another boat like this. That could be arranged.
Do you really think it would be possible?
Of course. You will stop over then?
Yes. I'd like to very much.
That's fine. Fine.
As you know, Howard, I didn't catch another ship out of Singapore. You and Grace were at our wedding. You've been our closest friends. You know that Robert and I have been happy together.
Apparently so happy that I never would have guessed that all along...
That all along I was in love with Jeffrey Hammond? Oh, I might have thought I was for a bit. But now as I look back, I know I wasn't. But Jeffrey Hammond was the first man I fell in love with. And that peculiar quirk in human nature always kept him in my mind. I never told Robert. There was never any reason to tell him. And then...
And then Hammond found you.
Yes. Quite by accident, I'm sure. He had no idea I was in Singapore. It was late one afternoon. I'd come into Singapore in the car with Robert. We went to your office to discuss something about buying a new plantation. Chung drove me on in the car for some shopping. We stopped at the market and he went in to buy some supplies. I was sitting there alone in the car.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Crosby.
Geoffrey.
How are you, Leslie? Surprised to see me?
What are you doing in Singapore?
Oh, now, Mrs. Crosby, is that a fair question? To ask a man why he comes to Singapore. I remember the Code of the East and all that sort of thing.
How did you know my name?
Your name? Oh, I've seen you once or twice. I know you married a very rich plantation owner. Very rich.
What do you mean?
Why, I thought I'd come to call. Always wanted to see how rich plantation owners and their wives live.
Geoffrey, you mustn't come. Do you hear me? You mustn't.
Are you ashamed of me? Ashamed of your old sweetheart? Of course, my clothes aren't any too good. London police were most inconsiderate. They gave me no time to pack. By the way, they were looking for you, too. They seemed to think you were involved in a little matter of a stolen necklace.
Geoffrey? Geoffrey, who is this woman?
What do you mean by hanging around? Go on.
Who is this lady?
Oh, this lady. Let me introduce you. Leslie, may I present my little friend, Lee T? Very charming girl, aren't you, Lee T? Now run along.
No, you come.
Oh, in a moment, my dear. Well, Leslie, when shall I come to call?
Geoffrey, you can't.
Well, don't you think your husband would like to see me? I should think we've got a great deal in common.
You can't do this. I've been happy here. My husband loves me.
I did too, my dear. But I need money. A great deal of money. Goodbye, Leslie. I hope my foot hasn't soiled the running board of your pretty automobile. Come along, Lizzie.
I was frantic after that. I saw everything shattered again. My life here, my love for Robert, and his love for me. I saw Geoffrey several times on the street. I tried to plead with him, but he only laughed and kept hinting about what he'd tell Robert. I couldn't stand it any longer. I sent for him that night. Robert was away. I wanted to ask him once more to please let me alone. He came about 10. I saw at once that he'd been drinking. He made me pour him a glass from the decanter.
Your liquor's very good, Leslie. Very expensive, I imagine. May I have another, please?
Haven't you had enough? Please go.
Oh, I see. You're not very hospitable, Leslie. You asked me here as your guest, and then you...
I asked you here for one purpose only. To beg you to let me alone.
Now, Leslie, be reasonable. You know how fond I've always been of you. Would you deprive me of the pleasure of your company?
You don't want my company. You want money.
Well, one can always use money.
This is blackmail. You're a blackmailer.
I've been called worse without being frightened or offended.
Geoffrey, please. I have no money. If I had, I'd give it to you gladly. Anything just to be left in peace.
But I'm not rushing you, my dear. You may have time. All you want.
Very well. I'll get some money somewhere. But then you've got to promise to go away. For good.
Of course, of course. Meantime, we can still be friends. Good friends.
We can't.
Why? We were good friends once. You haven't forgotten?
You must stay away from here. If my husband found you...
Oh, yes. Husband's a very jealous man, isn't he? Then we mustn't let the husband know.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about you, Leslie. And me.
I don't...
Oh, he must never know you sent for me, did I? No, that wouldn't do, would it? Because then he'd think we waited for him to be away. And then he'd see you'd given me a drink. And then... Oh, then he'd look into your eyes and find that you really love me.
You're mad. I don't love you. Not now, not anymore.
You can't change, Leslie. You loved me once.
Let me go.
I'll never let you go.
Don't touch me. Put me down.
Oh, Leslie. Should have told me about that step being there. Might have hurt you. Come here.
Don't move, Geoffrey.
Yeah, unfortunate my falling like that. Gave impulsive little Leslie a chance to reach for a husband's gun. But you can't frighten me, my dear. Suppose the houseboy hears you shoot me after you sent for me.
Sent for me as a guest.
Stand back.
Robert will be awfully jealous that he didn't get invited, too.
I shot him. Then I called the police. You know the rest.
Then it was purely in self-defense that you killed him.
Yes, but they won't believe me.
We can try it. You knew Hammond, we'll grant that point. You were alone. He came to see you. He was drunk, he threatened you, and you shot him. If they believe that, that's all you'll need to clear you. We won't even mention that you were once in love with him. No one need know that. Not even Robert.
You see now why I couldn't tell him?
I see. Now, one point, Leslie. You say you sent for Geoffrey Hammond. By messenger?
No, I wrote him a letter.
A letter? Where is it? Did you get it back?
No, he probably destroyed it. There was no reason why he should keep it.
Probably not. Just the same, I wish you had it.
Your time's up, Mr. Joyce.
Oh, in a moment. I'll be here to see you in the morning before the trial. I think we stand a fair chance, but you'll have to be brave for Robert's sake as well as your own.
I will, for Robert's sake.
We pause for station identification. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
The second act of the letter is over. Merle Oberon, Walter Houston, and our all-star cast will continue in a moment with Act 3. This intermission is highlighted by the presence of a man very familiar with the scenes of our play. He is Carveth Wells, who flew to Hollywood from his Bermuda home to bring us some strange facts about far-off Malay, where the action of our play occurs. A noted explorer, Mr. Wells is author of 10 books, including the bestseller 6 Years in the Malay Jungle. And since Mrs. Wells accompanies her husband on all his expeditions, we're happy to have her with us also.
Thank you, Mr. DeMille. Actually, I feel even closer to the Lux Radio Theater than Carveth does.
What do you mean? I hear this program every chance I get, and I think it's tops.
But what I mean is this. Being a woman, I'm a little more familiar with the product behind this program, Lux Flakes. I know how much Lux means to women all over the world. And if I say nothing else, I'm glad to have injected my little piece in praise of it.
Oh, it's one we've been very happy to hear. And now what can you say in praise of Malay? I've heard some strange tales of fish who climb trees and wink their eyes while they do it.
Well, that's absolutely true. When nature came to Malay, she must have gone on a kind of a spree. I've seen seagoing monkeys who wade into the surf and catch crabs, eat them, and then clean their teeth afterward. And I shot a full-grown Malay deer, carried it home in my pocket, and cooked the whole beast in a frying pan. And there's a bird in Malay who feeds his wife on strychnine.
You would notice that, wouldn't you?
That's true.
And it's also a fact that butterflies in Malay are as big as dinner plates. Spider webs are strong enough to catch birds, and I've even heard an earthworm sing.
What was the song? Wiggle while you work?
Well, if that's hard to believe, what would you say about this? If you chase a Malay lizard, it breaks off its tail, and the tail starts hopping about in order to distract your attention while the lizard itself escapes. In about 2 weeks, the lizard sprouts another tail.
You sprout some splendid tales yourself, Mr. Wells. What's your next one?
My dear, I don't think we're appreciated around here.
Well, it is awfully hard to believe some of these things unless you're there and see them for yourself. But here's something, Mr. DeMille, that I can prove. Here's some examples of real Malay silk. These are typical sarongs worn by the Malay women who love brilliant colors, such as these purples, scarlets, and blues. We've shown these sarongs hundreds of times in all parts of America. They have been worn by models 15,000 times. And there's no mystery why they look so fresh and new after all that wear. They have been washed hundreds of times and always in Lux Flakes.
And while I wish we could show you other tangible facts from Malay, Mr. DeMille, what impressed me most about the place was something that couldn't be seen. The complete mystery that grips not only the jungle, but even the plantations.
And then it's your opinion that the strange, weird accounts coming out of the Far East are not always the tall stories of imaginative travelers.
Well, after spending 6 years in Malay, Mr. DeMille, all I can say is that I now believe a person's thoughts and actions are controlled largely by environment. And in the environment of that Malay jungle, I think almost anything can happen.
That's why I'm anxious to hear the third act of tonight's play. I'm told it has a real climax. So let you and I get back to the Malay jungle and let Mr. DeMille get back to the letter.
I guess that she is the boss, Mr. DeMille. Goodbye.
And thanks for having us.
Thank you for bringing adventure to our door. Once again, The Letter, starring Merle Oberon and Walter Houston with Ralph Forbes and Eric Snowden. Leslie's trial is over. Behind locked doors, the jury weighs the evidence. As the hours crawl by, Robert paces the corridor nervously. Suddenly he stops and turns to Howard Joyce.
Why are they out there so long? What are they doing in there?
Easy, Bob.
But she was telling the truth. Anyone could see that. She knew Hammond only casually. He forced his way into the house and threatened her. That jury blind?
You can't expect them to feel as you do, Bob. You believe her, don't you?
Of course I do.
I think she'll be glad to hear that.
All I want to do is to get her out of this place, take her home and help her to forget. Oh, I was a fool ever to have doubted her. You're sure of the verdict, Howard?
Practically. Hammond picked up a rather bad reputation for himself in Singapore. I think she'll be freed, Bob.
Yeah, that's all I want now. I'll get her away, and I'll take her up to the Phillips plantation. You can put through that deal, Howard.
£5,000 is a lot of money.
Well, what of it? I've always wanted the place. Now I want it even more. For Leslie's sake.
Mr. Joyce?
I beg your pardon?
I wish to speak with you, please.
Oh, I'm sorry, but
I wish to speak with you alone. My name is Lee T.
Oh. Oh, yes. Excuse me, Bob. It's rather important.
Yes, of course.
This way, please. There's a room over here we can use. Well, what is it, please?
I think you know already, Mr. Joyce.
Do I?
That was very clever way to defend Mrs. Crosby, Mr. Joyce.
It was the truth.
But not all truth. You see, I knew Mr. Hammond very well.
Yes? Go on, please.
As Mrs. Crosby's lawyer, you must know that on night Geoffrey Hammond went to Mrs. Crosby's house, he went because she sent for him.
Did she?
That would not be good for a jury to know.
How do you know it?
I was with him when letter came.
If you testify to that, it'll only be the testimony of a jealous woman. There are any number of ways to discredit your story. Do you understand?
But there is one way to prove it. I have letter.
Let me see it.
Read it, please.
It's not even in her handwriting.
You did not think I would bring original with me? This is copy. What do you think of letter, Mr. Joyce?
It's an entirely innocently written note.
Yes, Mr. Joyce. But it can be read in other ways. Let me read it to you. Geoffrey, I must see you tonight. My husband will be away. If you live, do not come too near the house, for the servants might hear your car. In the name of the love I once held for you, I ask that you do not fail me, Leslie. You see, Mr. Joyce, when you read it as her friend.
What do you want for the original of this?
£5,000.
£5,000? Oh, that's ridiculous. Crosby hasn't got it.
Was he not paying £5,000 for plantation of Mr. Philip? That is what I learned. £5,000 is my price for letter. And my silence.
It's all the money he has in the world.
Does not Mr. Crosby love his wife that much? Perhaps I should have asked him instead of you.
Where is the original?
At my home. You will accept my offer?
I must talk with Mrs. Crosby. If you'll meet me here in half an hour, I'll know whether the money can be paid or not.
In half an hour, then, Mr. Joyce. Good day.
And that's the amount she asks, Leslie. £5,000.
Robert's lifelong savings. Must it be bought?
You have the note as she copied it. It's a true copy, isn't it?
Yes.
She could reopen the case with this. It would look very bad. I wish I could advance you the money and then say forget it, but I can't, Leslie.
Robert will have to know you paid it.
He told me to go the limit.
It's not that I'm thinking of.
You wonder how he will read it.
Yes. Pay her, Howard. Buy the letter from her. I've gambled this far on Robert's understanding.
And if he doesn't understand?
Perhaps you can guess, Howard.
Gentlemen of the jury, have you reached a verdict?
We have.
The defendant will rise. Gentlemen of the jury, what is your verdict?
Not guilty.
See, Leslie, I had Chung and the boys change the room all around. I did everything to make it look different, Leslie. Or is it so much change that it only makes you remember that night?
I'll only remember that you thought so much of me you wanted to change it, Robert. It's just like starting all over again.
Leslie, was I so awfully jealous? Was I?
I was to blame for it, Robert.
No, you weren't. But I'm going to make it up to you now, darling. You'll see. I'm going to make you so happy that you'll never remember it happened.
Oh, Robert.
What is it, Leslie?
Nothing. Nothing. I'm so happy now.
I'm going to take you away from here, Leslie. As soon as I get things straightened out, we're going north.
North?
Yes. To the Phillips plantation. I've had that on my mind a long time. I've decided to buy it. Definitely.
But why? You've made this place. It was nothing when you came here. It's like your child.
Oh, I hate it now. I hate every tree on it. I want to get away, and so must you.
But the risk, a new plantation.
It's no risk, darling. It's like a gold mine. Here, look. I have some photographs of it. You can see for yourself.
No, please, Robert. Not now. I don't want to see them now.
What's the matter?
Take me out into the garden. I want to be alone with you for the next hour. I want to walk with you, laugh with you, hold your arm.
For the next hour?
I've only got an hour alone with you, Robert. I've invited the Joyces over for dinner. I want you to settle with Howard tonight.
The first night you're home? Oh, Leslie, I thought...
Please understand, Robert.
But there's plenty of time.
There's never plenty of time for anything. It all goes so quickly.
Leslie.
Even the next hour.
What's the matter, Howard? Doesn't the noise of this shaker cheer you up?
Perhaps I need some of the contents.
You've been around with a long face ever since you and Grace came out. Or are you just hungry?
I'm sorry. How's this face? Better?
Well, very little. Well, we're ready. Where are the wives? Leslie? Oh, Leslie? I thought they were out here on the porch.
No, I think I saw them go into the garden a few minutes ago.
Then they'll have to miss this round. By the way, I'll cheer you up a little. What's it going to cost me, Howard?
Oh, wait till tomorrow. Forget it tonight. Just be happy with Leslie.
No, I think Leslie arranged for these few minutes. She wants it settled.
Oh, well, we can wait until tomorrow or later in the week.
Business is business, Howard. May as well get the money while you can. Most of it'll be gone soon on the Phillips plantation. Well, how much is your fee?
Very well. Nothing for my personal services.
Oh, no, wait. We're friends and all that, but...
But there was an additional out-of-the-pocket expense.
Well, I told you to spend anything you had to. How much?
I'm afraid it's going to be stiff.
All right. I'm holding on to the table. Come on, how much?
£5,000.
5,000... Why, I almost believed you for a moment.
That's what I must ask, Bob.
Want to clean me out, eh? Sure you don't want the plantation, too. Yeah, I shouldn't have put the Phillips matter in your hands, eh? Well, Howard? Why don't you laugh? Are you serious?
I wish I weren't. I haven't too much money myself, you know, or I'd let it pass for a while.
Why are you holding me up like this?
Bob, please.
But 5,000 pounds.
Did you call before, Robert?
Yes, I think you ought to be in on Howard's little joke, too, Leslie. It seems he paid an out-of-the-pocket expense of 5,000 pounds. Did you know anything about it?
Yes, Robert.
Then it isn't a joke.
No, Robert.
What was it for?
It was for a letter I wrote. It might have shown up badly at the trial. We had to buy it to keep it out of the evidence.
5,000 pounds for a letter? Must have been pretty damaging.
It was. But not in the way you think.
Well, what was it?
Would you like to see it, Robert?
For 5,000 pounds? Why not?
Do you have it with you, Howard?
Yes. Here.
Give it to Robert, please. Now leave us, Howard.
You're sure there's nothing I can do?
Quite sure. Thank you. You haven't opened it.
You, bought this letter to keep it out of the evidence. Is that, right, Leslie?
Yes.
Because it might be misunderstood.
Yes.
Is that all, Leslie? Is that the only reason?
That's the only reason, Robert.
Then maybe if I read this letter, I might misunderstand it, too. Will you hold that candlestick for me, Leslie? I think we'd better burn this.
Oh, Robert.
Steady, dear. Steady. There. It's gone.
Robert, darling.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, rings down the curtain on tonight's play. However, in just a moment, Merle Oberon and Walter Houston will return with Mr. DeMille. At this point, may I remind you that next week is National Cotton Week, and your own favorite store will feature new cotton fabrics which are smarter, more beautiful in color and design than ever before. These new cottons and linens are really fine fabrics, and you will see them made up in all sorts of exciting new fashions, from fascinating town and country frocks to formal evening dresses. You'll enjoy wearing them because they look so fresh and so summery, and because with Lux Flakes they'll stay lovely looking so long. Hundreds of leading stores advise their customers to use Lux Flakes, and it's wise economy to follow this advice. You can depend upon the famous Lux promise. If it's safe in water alone, it's safe in Lux. Here is Mr. DeMille.
The stars of the letter return now in a brief postscript. I have special thanks for Walter Houston, not only for his performance tonight, but for the distinction with which he replaced me as producer of this theater while I was in the hospital a few weeks ago. And I'm no less grateful to Miss Oberon for choosing the Lux Radio Theater for her first public appearance since returning from England. While there, she figured conspicuously in 3 smashes. 1 was in an automobile, 2 in motion pictures.
And we hope, Miss Oberon, that from now on your hits will be confined to the screen or radio.
Thank you, gentlemen. You know, Walter, I was quite surprised to learn from Mr. DeMille that you're a native of Canada. I've always taken you for a typical Yankee.
Oh, you mean because I have that fine, virile profile, that strong, silent look that...
Yes. But chiefly, I think, because you have the cutest Adam's apple.
It's not an apple, it's a grapefruit. But tell us, Merle, what about your experiences in England?
Well, after all, Walter, there's nothing like experience.
Well, that's very interesting.
Would you care to commit yourself any further, Miss O'Brien?
Yes, aside from being featured in an automobile wreck, most of my time was spent before the camera. I made 2 pictures over there. One called The Divorce of Lady X and the other Over the Moon.
They tell me they're your first comedies.
Yes, and in case my acting shows it too plainly, they've bolstered the pictures with some really splendid Technicolor. Over the Moon, as far as I know, is the first feature picture in which Paris, Venice, London, Switzerland, and Monte Carlo are all seen in color.
Tonight's play, Merle, must have brought back to you many memories of the colorful scenes of India.
Yes, Mr. DeMille. But I've never been in Singapore. The closest connection I have with the letter is the fact that I happen to be quite a close friend of the author's daughter. But now about you, Walter. How did you like taking Mr. DeMille's place here as producer?
Well, Merle, I thought it was great until after I got home. I drove back to where I live. That's about 100 miles from here up in the mountains. I was feeling kind of proud of myself, and I walked over to one of my neighbors and finally got around to, asking him how he liked the show. Well, he said he thought Deanna Durbin was just about the best thing he'd ever heard. I said, well, that's fine. Now, how did you like the program as a whole, the way it was put together, the production and so on? Well, he thought that was, everything considered, it was pretty good. But Mr. Houston, he added, there was something awfully queer about it. They had some man on there trying to take Mr. DeMille's place, and if I was you, I'd do something about it on account he was using your name.
What did you do, Walter?
I went home and built another chair.
An amateur carpenter, eh?
Yeah, so far, but if I get any more comments like my neighbors, I think I'll turn professional. Good night, C.B.
Good night, Mr. DeMille, and many thanks.
Good night, Merle. Good night, Walter. Thank you.
None of you will want to miss the thrilling announcement about next week's program to be made by Mr. DeMille in just a moment. Ralph Forbes, who played Jeffrey Hammond tonight, is featured in the new Paramount picture, If I Were King. Louis Silvers appeared tonight through courtesy of 20th Century Fox Studios, where he was in charge of music for the new film, Kidnapped. Our cast tonight included Leonard Mudie as Coroner Bentley, Raymond Lawrence as Sergeant Jenkins, Lou Merrill as Chung, Celeste Rush as Lee T., Sybil Harris as the matron, and Frank Nelson as foreman. And now we want to join in the celebration of National Foreign Trade Week. Certainly, everyone who has the welfare of our country at heart must naturally be interested in increasing our share of foreign trade. So here's wishing an ever-growing development of this very important phase of our country's business life. Mr. DeMille.
Every now and then, a drama comes quietly to the screen, and without fanfare or ballyhoo, is suddenly recognized as one of the year's most enjoyable pictures. Such a play we bring you next Monday night. I Met My Love Again. The story of a love greater than circumstance and stronger than time. In our production will be heard the same 2 stars seen in the film, the lovely Joan Bennett and the very popular Henry Fonda. Also, that distinguished character actress, May Robeson. Our sponsors, the makers of Lux Flakes, join me in inviting you to be with us again next Monday night when the Lux Radio Theater presents Joan Bennett and Henry Fonda with May Robeson in I Met My Love Again. This is Cecil B. DeMille saying good night to you from Hollywood.
Your announcer has been Melville Ruick. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Lost in Brazil invites you on an unforgettable journey where every moment is an adventure waiting to be discovered. Join us as we uncover the soul of Brazil, one incredible experience at a time. Click on the link in the description and embark on the ultimate Brazilian odyssey.
Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is wall. W-A-L-L. Really? You bet you're right. It's Groucho Marx in You Bet Your Life, the comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood and brought to you by more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers. The dealers who now have on display the all-new 1954 Plymouth, your best buy in the low-price field, and who, on November 5th, will have on display the astonishing and beautiful new DeSoto for 1954. And now, here it is, the one, the only... Well, what do you know? That's me. Well, here I am again with $1,000 for one of our couples. Well, Groucho, I'd like you to meet a couple of guests who have unusual backgrounds. Mrs. Gretchen Alfred and Mr. Fortune Gordine. Would you please come in and meet Groucho Marx?
Mrs. Gretchen Alfred and Mr. Fortune Gordine, eh? Gordine, eh? Mrs. Alfred, I'll start with you. Do you mind if I call you Gretchen?
No, I don't. That's my name.
Oh. Do you mind if I call you Gretchen?
That's not my name.
Gretchen, that's a very pretty name. That's a German name, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Is it so?
Mm-hmm.
Are you from Germany?
Yes, I was born in Salo in East Prussia.
Where?
In Salo in East Prussia.
Oh, well, when did you come to this country?
When I was a year old.
You must speak very good German, eh? And when was that? When were you a year old?
Well, that was in 1923.
1923, let's see. 1, 2, 55. That makes you 24, is that right?
That's right. That's close
I hope Dulles was listening. You could make me an ambassador.
That's close enough.
Yes, well, close enough for me, too. When you left Prussia, did you come directly to California?
No, my folks settled in DeSoto, Kansas.
Where?
In DeSoto, Kansas.
DeSoto, Kansas, huh? And I thought I was being diplomatic. Is there really such a place as DeSoto?
There's really such a town. It's just a small railroad town outside.
Please, no belittling now. How long since you've been there?
Well, I came out here in 1939.
Well, it's changed.
Yes.
Today, DeSoto is it's a beautiful new DeSoto, Kansas. The mayor is a wonderful fellow. I know him very well. His name is Mr. Full Power Steering, Jr. Let's see, Mr. Fortune Gordine. Are you related to Jack Gordine?
No, sir.
There is a Jack Gordine.
Is there?
Where did you get the name Fortune?
Very good friend.
Is that your last name?
First name.
Oh, too bad it isn't your last name. Imagine if you had a daughter named Miss Fortune. All is grist that comes to my mill. Where are you from, Fortune?
Spokane, Washington.
Oh, is that in Germany? That isn't near DeSoto, huh? Are you married?
Yes, sir.
You are, eh?
Yes, sir.
You say that very emphatically.
Yes, sir.
How long have you been married, Fortune?
7 minutes.
You're a newlywed, huh?
Yes, sir.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Tell us something about your wife. Would you care to attempt to describe her?
Well, she's the type of girl, very striking, the type who, when she enters the room, everybody looks at her.
So what? When a rhinoceros walks into a room, everybody looks. I didn't mean your wife was a rhinoceros. Although she could be, as far as I'm concerned. I've never seen her. Now, Fortune, where have I heard your name? It's a very familiar name. It rings some kind of a bell, but I just can't place it.
You may have seen it on the sports page, Groucho. I throw the discus.
You throw the discus?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
At who? Are you pretty good with the discus?
Well, I throw about 194 feet, 6 inches.
Mm-hmm. Is that good?
That's the world's record.
Fortune, I have seen your name in the sports pages, and I'm happy to meet you.
Thank you, Groucho.
We don't have the world champion discus thrower up here every week, you know. Not even every other week. You know? Actually, we're proud of you. Very proud of you. Now then, what is a discus? You're not a discus jockey, are you?
Well, a discus is comparable to two plates laid face to face,
and weighs 4 pounds, 6.4 ounces, has a metal ring around the outside, and metal on the inside, and the rest is wood.
It sounds just like the biscuits Aunt Minnie used to make. Gretchen, aren't you excited being up here with a celebrity?
Oh, I sure am. He's so tall and handsome.
Who's talking about him?
Well, that's what I said. He was so handsome.
You haven't got a chance here tonight, Gretchen. Fortune, by the way, has marriage affected your athletic progress? It's made a bum out of a lot of athletes, you know. And also a lot of people who aren't athletes.
It taught me a great deal, Groucho.
It has?
Yes, I've broken the world twice since I've been married.
And you attribute this to the matrimony?
Oh, yes. Good food and good wife.
Is your wife interested in your track activities?
Very much, Groucho. She stands out about 180 feet. She did to start with, and I would throw at her for directional purposes.
You would throw at her?
Yes, sir. And then, of course, to get up to 194 feet, she'd just back up.
Well, with an incentive like that, most men could throw a piano. Yes, you got a chance to throw a discus at your wife? Gretchen, let's get back to you. Do you ever throw the discus at your husband?
No, I don't even know what one looks like.
You don't know what a husband looks like?
No,
or a discus?
No, the discus.
Oh. You have a husband?
Oh, yes, I have a husband.
I guess you're not rugged enough to be heaving a discus around, are you?
I guess not.
Well, what outside interests do you have?
Well, I'm the constable of Harupa Judicial District in
Well,
Riverside
good
County.
day. I'll see you again. You're a constable?
Yes, I am.
The shades of Jesse James. Huh? The Wild West is wilder than I thought it was. How did you get to be a constable? What do you do as a constable?
Well, I have to serve all kinds of papers.
Oh,
and,
would you switch them over to my house someday?
I might.
Even if it's only a subpoena.
Well, I serve those kinds
Do you?
I have to summon juries, and then when they have a jury trial, I have to act as the bailiff in the court.
How many crooks have you tossed in the can since you've been in office?
Up to now, none.
You're getting money on the poor pretenses, aren't you? Well, why haven't you, Gretchen?
Well,
What a name for a constable, Gretchen, huh?
I just haven't run across any, I guess.
Oh, well,
They're hiding from me.
I wish you luck in the near future. Well, it's been very interesting talking to you two, and I'd like to continue, but now it's time to play You Bet Your Life. You run your $20 or more than our other couples, you'll get a chance at the big money later. You selected the animal kingdom as your category. I'll name 3 things. You tell me what kind of animal, bird, or fish they are. Here's your first question. How much of the 20 will you bet?
All of it.
All of it. What are Dalmatians, beagles, and ceiling hens?
Dog.
Dalmatians, dogs.
Dog is correct.
On your way, you have $40.
Now, how much of the $40 are you going to bet on this one?
All of it, please.
All of it. All right. What are Cheviots, Oxford Downs, and Cotswolds? Cotswolds. Cheviots, Oxford Downs, and Cotswolds. Talk it over. Take a guess.
Sheep.
What's that? Sheep is right, yes.
You now have $80.
Yes, that's cheap at half the price. So you said you had me nervous there. They got $80?
$80.
All right, this is your third question. How much of the 80 do you want to try?
All of it.
All right, what are monitors, iguanas, and chameleons?
Lizards?
Lizards is right.
You now have $160.
Here's your last chance to be the other couples. How much will you bet?
All of it.
All of it.
What are sperms, sulfur bottoms, and bottlenoses? Sperms, sulfur bottoms, and bottlenoses. If you don't know, take a guess. These are part of the animal kingdom. Animal, bird, or fish?
Fish.
No, they're whales. You were close, but not close enough.
Oh.
That's a tough question. Well, nobody leaves here broke. I give you one more question. You get this right, and you'll split $25. You ready? How many shots in a 6-shooter?
6.
6 is right. Sorry you didn't win one.
Thank you, guys. That's too bad.
good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealer. Now, news about the big, bright, beautiful event that is happening tomorrow.
It's big, the 54 Plymouth. It's bright, the 54 Plymouth. Big, bright, beautiful too. The 54 Plymouth is the car for you.
And tomorrow's the day to see it at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers. The big, bright, beautiful new 54 Plymouth, the car that introduces to the low-price field fabulous new ideas in beauty and high style.
Tomorrow's also the day to enter the big Plymouth contest. $25,000 worth of prizes. Your chance to win a new 54 Plymouth or one of hundreds of cash prizes. Just for telling what you like most about this exciting new car. I like the choice of drives Plymouth gives you. Synchro silent or at slight extra cost, either overdrive or no shift high drive.
I like the new Plymouth full-time power steering. Makes parking so easy, and it's surprising how little extra it costs.
Yes, the contest's real easy. Lots of fun. And you can get an entry blank containing the easy rules and the full list of prizes tomorrow from your DeSoto Plymouth dealer.
But don't put it off. Contest closes Monday, so be sure to go in and see the new 54 Plymouth tomorrow.
Okay, George, who's next?
Well, our studio selected a woman who works in a movie studio to be on the show tonight.
Oh, actress?
Well, you'll see in just a minute. She's Mrs.
I can't wait, George.
Lorena Nelson, and her partner is Mr. Robert Disterdick. So, folks, would you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome to Your Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you find around the house. Mrs. Lorena Nelson and Mr. Robert Disterdick, eh? Mrs. Nelson, where are you from?
Cortland, Nebraska.
Cortland, Nebraska. I was caught in Nebraska once, too. May I ask how old you are? That's sort of a nosy question, but I'm a very nosy fellow.
Do I have to say I'd rather not?
You rather say you would rather not? Well, let's skip it. It's all right with me.
Okay.
Now, Mr. Robert Disterdick, that's an unusual name. What kind of a name is it?
Well, that's the German extraction name.
Oh, Mr. Disterdick, that's too formal. What do the boys in the office call you?
Well, lots of things, mostly Shorty.
Well, that's logical. What other name is there for a name like Disterdick? How tall are you, Shorty?
Well, it depends on who asks me. Usually I'm 5 foot 18 inches.
In other words, you're 5 feet 6, is that right?
No, 6 feet 6.
Oh, 6 feet 6. Bob, a fellow with your height makes an easy target. I presume you're married, is that right?
That's right, I am.
How did you meet your wife? Was it an office romance?
Oh, no, I met my wife my sophomore year in college. In my junior year, we were married, and in my senior year, we had our first daughter.
I guess that's what they mean by progressive education. You had just the one child?
No, we have 3 children now.
Oh, you're back in college again, huh? You went back for postgraduate work, is that it?
Yes.
Now, Mrs. Nelson, you say you're from Van Cortlandt Park? That's in the Bronx, isn't it?
No, Nebraska.
Oh, you're in Van Cortlandt Park is in Nebraska?
No, Cortland.
Oh, Cortland. Well, let's get
Cortland,
back to you.
Nebraska.
Fenneman says you're from a movie studio. Is that right?
That's right.
Are you an actress?
No, I work behind the scenes.
Well, so do I, but I mean, what is your...
I am...
How do you make a living?
I'm with the Ladies' Wardrobe, 20th Century Fox.
I see. The Ladies' Wardrobe?
That's right.
Well, what do you do in your job?
I dress the stars.
Could you tell the folks just...
Get them ready for their pictures.
What stars,
Make
for
their
example?
clothes.
What are some of the actresses that you've pinned these things on?
Susan Hayward, Betty Grable, and Marilyn Monroe, then Gene Simmons, and Vera Ellen. But they're not with our studio. They're borrowed stars.
I see. You say you borrowed them?
We borrowed Gene Simmons and Vera Ellen.
Well, can anybody do that? Or, I mean, you have to be in a studio, huh?
I can see him.
Bob, what sort of work do you do?
I work for the probation department in the county of Los Angeles.
What do you do for the probation department?
I'm in the administrative offices. I'm the executive assistant of the probation department.
The job sounds pretty cushy. What do you have to know to get a job like that?
Well, you have to know the answers to the civil service examination that all people who work for the county have to take and pass.
Well, do you have to keep a civil tongue in your head when you're doing this?
Yeah, I imagine you do when you're taking your interview.
Well, what did you do before you got this job?
I was an examiner for the Civil Service Commission.
Well, you certainly know the right fellow to go to get a job. Now, wasn't that a little irregular, giving yourself your own examination?
No, I didn't do that. Someone else prepared and administered the examination that I took. I would probably have gotten a better grade if I had have made my own, though.
I would think so. Well, I hate to change the subject, but now you're going to play You Bet Your Life. You beat our other couples, and you'll get a chance at the $1,000 question. I can't tell you how much you have to win, but George is going to remind our listeners.
In the race for the $1,000, the first couple lost all their money, and the secret word is wall.
You selected English expressions for American words as your category. I'll give you the English expression, and you give me the American version of the same word. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. Here's your first question. How much will you bet? Of the 20.
All of it.
All of it. In England, they call it a tram. What do we call it here?
Streetcar.
Streetcar is right.
You now have $40.
$40? How much you going to go for?
Whole thing? All of it.
In England, they call it an ironmonger's. What do we call it here?
Will you say that again?
Ironmonger's. IRONMONGERS.
Do you know anything about that?
If you don't know, take a guess.
Minor?
No, it's a hardware store. Ironmonger's is a hardware store.
Well, they lost all their money, Groucho.
Well, nobody leaves here broke. They give you one more question, get this right, and you'll spend $25. How many wheels on a tricycle?
About 3.
So about 3 is absolutely right. Sorry you didn't win. Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
Well, Groucho, we invited some ladies' dress shop proprietors to the program, and our studio audience selected Mary Campbell to be on the show, and her partner is a schoolboy, Leonard Ross. So, folks, would you come in and meet Groucho Marx?
Mrs. Mary Campbell and Mr. Leonard... Leonard Ross, eh? Say, can't we get him a boxer stand on or something?
Leonard?
I'll talk to you in a minute, Shorty, as soon as you grow up here.
There you go. How's that?
No, that's no good. Now he's taller than I am. Mrs. Campbell, where are you from? Scotland, I imagine, eh?
Franklin, Kentucky.
Franklin, Kentucky, down the bluegrass country,
Close to Bowling Green.
Bowling Green, huh? Well, I'm a little bowling, but let's talk about your job. What is it you do?
I'm a sales girl.
A sales girl?
Mm-hmm. For S. L. McKenzie's dress shop.
Oh.
Between Bullock's and I. Magna.
Well, tell us about the new styles and keep them short, huh?
Well, I don't think they're going to be short.
You don't, huh? Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
But I think they're going to feature full skirts and slim skirts and...
What's the difference between a slim skirt and a full skirt?
Well, the full skirt's like I have on.
Yeah, and a slim skirt
is
what you have off, huh? Well, that clarifies that pretty well. Now, Leonard, you're Leonard, aren't you?
Oh, yes, I believe so.
Do you have a nickname, Leonard, or do you prefer Leonard?
I'd like to use Lenny.
Lenny, eh? How old are you, Len?
Oh, 8.
8? And where were you born?
Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm. How long ago?
8 years.
Pretty tricky, this kid, isn't he? What grade are you in school?
B4.
B4, huh? No, I mean now.
B4.
Let's not go into an Abbott and Costello routine here. What grade are you in school?
B4.
You're going to stick to that story, huh? What is your favorite subject?
Arithmetic.
I've always liked that subject myself, Lenny. Let's see how good you are. How much is 15 and 10?
25.
That's absolutely correct. Huh? Let's see that. You got a pencil on you?
Oh, no. What's the way to
I think that's right. I hope Fenneman's listening. I told him he could be replaced, you know. Now you ask me one and make it tough. Not too tough.
Oh, 11 times 208.
11 times 208. 11 times, 10 times 208. One more example like that, and I'll kick that soapbox out from under you. I give up. How much is it?
2,088.
2,088.
288. 2,288.
2,000. That's absolutely right, Lenny. How do you know? How did you figure that out so fast?
10 times 208 is 2,080.
That's right.
And
that I had.
208 would be 2,288.
Hey, you're pretty good, Lenny. When I was 8 years old, I could only count up to 15. That was the number of pool balls there was on the table.
There are 16 balls on the pool table, counting the cue balls.
This kid is not only an expert mathematician, he's a pool shark. Well, let's try you on some tough ones. Fenneman. Hey, George. George. Come out here. I don't want to be humiliated alone out here. Now, Fenneman, maybe a little of this will rub off on you. All right, Lenny. Multiply 640 by 5 and divide by 2.5.
Let's see, 2, 8.
1280.
Oh, come on.
What is it?
1280.
Well, I haven't even got it written down.
You say you went to Stanford, George? Huh?
And you divide by how much?
Here we are, two old men asking an 8-year-old moppet how to do a sum.
And how much you want to divide by?
To keep me out of this, I have nothing to do with it. Are you bored, Lenny? This won't take more than 10 minutes, huh? You give up, George?
Oh,
Forget it, huh?
I think so.
George, I won't. You and I at the beginning, huh? I'll see you in nursery school tomorrow morning at 9. Lenny, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I could learn something by continuing this conversation, but the time has come for you two to win a lot of money. Run your $20 no more than our other couples, and you'll get a chance at the big money.
In the race for the $1,000, both couples lost all their money.
George, come out here again. Don't ever leave me alone with this monster. Here we go. Let's see how I can bid you $20. You selected Canadian cities and provinces. I'll give you the Canadian city, and you tell me the name of the province. Here's your first question. How much will you bet? You have $20.
Oh, 20.
All of it?
All of it?
All right. And what Canadian province is the city of Montreal?
Quebec.
Absolutely right.
You now have $40.
Why don't you make it a little tougher for yourself and do this in fractions right here? How much of your $40 will you bet on your second question? How much?
All 40.
You have $40. And what Canadian province is the city of Halifax?
Nova Scotia.
Right.
You now have climbed to $80.
Mrs. Campbell, aren't you going to say anything here tonight?
I don't have a chance.
Here's your third question. How much of the 80 you're going to go for?
80.
In what Canadian province is the city of Gander? This is a famous stopping-off place for planes en route to Europe.
I'll take a guess at it. I don't know if Saskatchewan. I didn't know it. I took a guess at it.
Well, one answer between you. Well, I'm sorry. It's Newfoundland. They're broke, huh?
Yeah, they lost all their money.
I'll give you one question. I'll get this right, and we bring your winnings up to $25. What Shakespearean character gives Hamlet's soliloquy? He was buried in Grant's tomb. General Grant is absolutely right. Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealer.
Well, all our couples lost all their money tonight, so all three couples in just one moment get the chance at the $1,000 DeSoto Plymouth question.
Say, George, did I ever tell you about a friend of mine named DeSoto?
DeSoto?
Well, that's not really his name, but it makes the sponsors so happy.
Oh, I see. Well, what about your friend DeSoto?
Do you know him, too? How that DeSoto does get around. I want you to watch this, folks. This is the trickiest lead-in to a commercial you've ever seen.
Not the dramatic new DeSoto, Groucho. This lovely car isn't going to be around until its first appearance on November 5th. It's well worth waiting for, though.
What was that date again, Fenneman?
November 5th.
And what happens then? 30 years in show business, and all of a sudden I'm a straight man.
November 5th is the day the dramatic 1954 DeSoto, the most beautiful and best performing car ever built, will go on display for the first time. So be on hand November 5th and see the dramatic new DeSoto.
Yes, friends, on November 5th, drop in and see your Groucho Plymouth dealer. And when you drive in, you'll tell them the dramatic new DeSoto really sent you.
Well, Groucho, here are the three couples all tied for the DeSoto Plymouth $1,000 question. Now, we've given them a little slip of paper, and if all three couples get it right, we'll split the money among them. Are we all set? Okay.
Our present calendar has been in use since 1582. When it replaced the old style, or Julian calendar, the one now in use throughout the world was named for the Pope who introduced it. For $1,000, what do we call it? What do we call this calendar? You have 15 seconds and talk it over. Write something down, buddy. First one says Gideon. That's wrong.
Nothing from our second couple.
Nothing from the second one. That's wrong. And nothing from the third one. That's wrong. This is a tough night. The correct answer is the Gregorian calendar. That means the big question next week will be worth $1,500. Well, they all lost the big money, and they didn't win anything in the quiz. Huh?
No.
They each won $25. Thanks, and good luck to the DeSoto Plymouth dealer.
Be sure to tune in again next Wednesday night at this same time for the Groucho Marx Show, when the big question will be worth $1,500. And don't forget Groucho's television show, also brought to you by the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America. Remember that the dealers who sell the remarkable new Plymouth, engineered and built to be your best buy in the low-priced field, will have the magnificent new 1954 DeSoto on display November 5th. DeSoto, Plymouth. Two great new cars, both products of the Chrysler Corporation.
And when you drive in, tell them Groucho sent you. Good night, folks, and remember, just be sure to see the distinguished new DeSoto.
Folks, here's a reminder from the National Safety Council. Caution, control, and courtesy are the ingredients that add up to traffic safety. You Bet Your Life, transcribed from Hollywood, is produced by John Goodell, directed by Robert Dwan and Bernie Smith, music by Jerry Fielding. This is George Fenneman signing off for the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast. You Bet Your Life is heard by our armed forces throughout the world.
Lost in Brazil invites you on an unforgettable journey where every moment is an adventure waiting to be discovered. Join us as we uncover the soul of Brazil, one incredible experience at a time. Click on the link in the description and embark on the ultimate Brazilian odyssey.
for the American Armed Forces and their allies, the rebroadcast of the Red Skelton Show. With Shirley Mitchell, Ozzie Nelson, Harriet Hilliard, and starring Red Skelton.
Thank you very much, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are you tonight, Mark?
Oh, fine. Hi, Red. Red, tell me, what's this I hear about you doing some painting?
Yeah, that's right.
But didn't you just sell one of your paintings to Archie of Duffy's Tavern?
Yeah, you see, there's a big hole in the wall down at Duffy's Tavern, and Archie wanted something to cover it up with, see? But now he wants to sell it back to me.
Well, why?
Well, Duffy saw it, and he said he liked the hole in the wall better. Say, who do we have with us tonight that plays an important part in our American way of living, huh?
Well, Red, tonight I want you to meet Dave Pollard, a humane officer. In many communities, he'd be known as a dog catcher.
Oh, well, sir, how are you, Mr. Pollard? If you read the next line there, you'll let us know how you feel, you know. Fine, Red. Dave, your business has really gone to the dogs, hasn't it, huh?
I was afraid you're going to say that, Red. Everybody always does.
Yeah, well, that's one thing we don't tolerate on this show is originality, you know. Say, you know, I'd make a good dog catcher. Did you ever hear me whistle? Huh?
We used to whistle for dogs in the old days, but we had to cut it out.
Isn't safe, huh? Nowadays, if you whistle, the nearest blonde walks up and lets you have it right in the kisser. Say, tell me, how are you at catching dogs with those big butterfly nets you guys carry?
Red, we don't carry nets. My main job is to go from door to door checking on people to see if they have licenses on their dogs and they're not mistreating them.
Oh, what happens if they don't have a license?
I sell them one. But it really isn't a license for the dog. It's a permit for the owners to keep them.
Really? $2 for a dog tag. How do you like that? The government's going to give me one for nothing.
Tell me, Red, do you have a dog?
Yeah, I've got a dog. He's a pointer. I took him hunting last winter, and I caught him cheating, you know. He'd walk up to rabbits and he'd say, hey, give me a buck. I won't point at you.
Did he have any other faults?
Do what?
Did he have any other faults?
Yeah, he used to bark at night. He'd keep us awake. We couldn't sleep, but we finally solved that.
What did you do?
We slept during the day. Tell me, how old does a dog have to be before he gets a license, huh?
All dogs 4 months old or older must have a license.
Well, what about St. Bernards? Do they have to have a liquor license to carry those kegs around their neck? I used to have 2 of those St. Bernards, one for the brandy and the other for the chaser, you know. I went over to the hush. Hey, after you sell the tag, then what happens, huh?
The tag serial numbers are filed in the Los Angeles Humane Department. Then if a dog is found, the owner can be located.
Oh, you're sort of a canine G-man, huh? Yeah, I'm a little mixed up tonight. I didn't get over it yet. See, I went to Flat Top's funeral. Could you tell us about some of your experience? Have you ever been bitten by a dog?
A few times. I remember once I went to inquire about a Boston Terrier without a tag, and the next thing I knew, he had me by the pants.
You mean you went to get to the seas of trouble and the dog beat you to it, huh? You know, I was a dog catcher back in Vincennes, Indiana. One time I said to the lady, hey, your dog bit me. She said, oh, that's all right. He bites everybody.
Why'd you give up your job as a dog catcher?
Well, they want me to be the cat catcher, and I refused to work the night shift, you know. I must have one of Fred Allen's writers here tonight. Hey, tell me, what do you do with stray dogs that you pick up on the street there? You pick them up.
Well, we take them to city pound, clean them up, feed them well, and hope that someone will take them to a good home.
You didn't happen to pick up my father the other night, did you? Say, Dave, what's your opinion of people who take dogs out and try to lose them, huh?
You want to finish this program?
Yeah.
Then I better not say.
Well, trying to lose a dog's a misdemeanor, isn't it?
Yes, Red. If people feel they no longer want to keep their pets, they should call up the Humane Department. We'll gladly come and pick up their animals.
Well, thanks a lot, Dave, for stopping in, and I'll be seeing you.
Don't you be weary, don't you be dreary, 'cause that trumpet's gonna sound. Just keep your eyes peeled and keep your lips sealed when that good news gets around.
There'll be a jubilee. There'll be a jubilee. There'll be a jubilee upon that happy day. Sister, your friends and my friends too. Your friends and my friends too. Your friends and my friends too will be coming home to stay. There'll be a jubilee, happiness for you and me. There'll be a jubilee upon that happy day. Sun will be dawning. Oh, say, what a gay time. Why, the night will seem just like daytime, sister. There'll be a jubilee, happiness for you and me. There'll be a jubilee upon that happy day.
Thank you, and now back to the Hour of Charm.
Our satire tonight on our American way of living is about dog catchers. And first we have good old Willie Lump Lump, who can't sleep until he finds his lost dog. Answer the phone, will you? 3 rings is our number, you know.
Willie, them are chimes.
Oh, well, see what they want and tell them I ain't home, will you?
No, we ain't at home. We're on the street, and it's 3 o'clock.
Oh, well, look, if I run into my wife, I'll introduce you as my sister.
Willie, I'm your wife.
Well, if I run into your husband, tell him I'm your brother.
Willie, I think you better lay off those homogenized ice cubes. They're doing strange things to you.
Oh, I wouldn't say that, you know. I always walk around on my knees.
Come on, we might just as well give up and go home. We're never going to find that dog just roaming the streets like this.
No, I can't go home. That dog's my best friend, you know.
Well, if that's true, then it proves the dogs ain't so intelligent after all.
You just don't love me no more, is all.
Please, Willie, let's go home. If he doesn't show up by morning, we'll run an ad in the paper.
That's one of the silliest things I ever heard tell her. That dog can't read New York. Hey, let's look up this street here for him. Oh, Lassie, come home, From the picture of the same name. Oh, no.
Oh, my poor little puppy. That poor little dog never heard a soul.
Oh, shut up! Goodness, don't make them kind of faces. My stomach can't stand it so early in the morning.
I hope we find him in a hurry. We got 6 people in the backyard now waiting to rent his doghouse.
Well, if we find him, maybe he won't mind taking in a few boarders. You know. I wonder where that dog can be. Here, dog. That's the first one I've ever seen that wore glasses. There he is, across
across the street with that guy standing. Hey, you, what are you doing with my dog, huh?
That's your dog?
Yeah, let him go. I'll call him. Here, Bromo, come on, show this man you know me. Where? You see him come to me, huh? Well, let go of my leg, will you?
You say this is your dog?
Yeah, I got him well trained. He don't bite strangers, only me, you know. He's a nice dog, though.
You're positive this is your mutt?
Well, ain't that what I've been telling you?
Well, I'm glad we've got that settled. So happens I'm a dog catcher, and this dog hasn't got a license. You know, there's a fine for people owning dogs without license. You know that, don't you?
I wonder who that dog belongs to.
You just said he belonged to you.
Well, don't believe everything you hear, you know. I haven't told the truth in years, you know.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do.
What do you do?
I'll forget the whole thing if you'll just pay me $2 for a dog.
Well, while you're at it, why don't you forget that, too, huh?
Well, do you want to pay me the $2?
I wouldn't pay you a nickel.
Well, then I'm going to have to take the dogs to the city pound.
Oh, no, you won't.
Oh, yes, I will.
Oh, no, you won't.
All right, then I won't.
Oh, yes, you will.
Get the man the $2 for his license.
Not me. I'll grab my dog and run. Come on, boy. Come on.
Come back here. Careful, don't run in the
street. Must have been an out-of-towner. He missed me. Department, so let's look in on Clem, the dog catcher from the country. Well, then here I am. Just me and my dogs. Got a good job as a dog catcher. Yes, sir, I got it because the dogs like me, boy. They like my face. They think I'm one of them. Hey, what this strange-looking animal is coming down the street there? Mighty vicious looking. Where's my net? Where's my net?
Howdy, Cam.
Well, you. As I live and live. How are you?
Cam, I just heard you're the new dog catcher.
Yep, they elected me yesterday.
Who elected you, the city council?
No, the dog. When I see my dogs I caught today, they're all changed up here on the push cart, you know. There.
Hey, that dog looks familiar.
Yeah, he's mine. I'm just letting them go along for the ride, you know. You know, they say a dog is just like its master, you know.
Hey, he does look pretty stupid.
Yes. Well, not him. He's a pretty smart dog. I tell him to run or lay down, and he understands me, you know.
Well, does he do what you tell him?
If he happens to agree with me, yes.
You know, Britt Wood has the smartest dog I ever seen.
Really?
He's a French poodle.
You got fleas? That's too fast for her. She didn't get it. Yes, sir. I've seen old Britt Wood's dog, you know, and if that thing's a dog, then I'm a pig.
Well?
No, never you mind them small. You just hold your tongue. You'll find it kind of slippery, too.
I declare claim you're a moron.
Which no one can deny. I ain't going to worry about me being a moron, no. I get a lot of these dogs together, you know. I'm going into vaudeville, you know. Here, let me show you how smart Otto, my dog, is. I taught him the edge, you know. Here, Otto, come here. Come here. Come on, now, show Daisy June what I taught you. What's 2 and 2? Come on, boy, one more. Well, I'll be seeing you, DJ. I gotta go catch some more dogs.
Oh, say, Clem, I just remembered.
What's this?
There's a vicious dog loose in the neighborhood. He bites every stranger he sees.
Well, he's consistent, ain't he?
Yeah, he's just awful mean.
Oh.
I thought I ought to tell you about him. It's my duty to you.
Well, howdy doody to you. Hey, where'd you see this dog at?
Well, over there in Queenie Harkin's backyard.
Well, I'll go over and get him.
Now, be careful. You know what to do if he tries to bite you, don't you?
Sure, I'll try to bite him back. Here, hold on, dogs. Here we go. Come on. I'll go up and ask old Queenie Harkins if she's seen him around here. This is where she lives. I'll just knock on the door here. Oh. Got a lot of iron in my blood, ain't I? She's open her door.
Oh, good heavens, is Halloween here already?
Why, no, it isn't. Why?
Well, then take off that silly mask.
This ain't a mask, this is me. It was a birthday present from my mother and father, you know.
Well, what do you want?
Have you seen a vicious dog around here?
No, you're the first one I've seen this morning.
Well, I mean, besides me, there's a mad dog loose in this neighborhood here.
Well, if I see him, I'll tell him you're looking for him.
No. Hey, open the door, will you?
Now, what do you want?
Just wanted to get my head out of there. Thank you. Well, here comes old Slim Pickens, the original sad sack, running down the street with a dog chasing him.
Clam, look, a mad dog.
Where?
He's foaming at the mouth.
Really? I thought he'd been shaving. How do you like that? Well, just keep on running. I'll sneak up in the back of him and grab him there.
Well, do something. He's gaining on
Oh,
me.
don't get excited. I'll grab him and put him in this big cage.
Here, Brett. Oh, look, Clam, he's getting friendly. He's smiling at you.
Mighty sharp smile he's got there, ain't he?
Oh, did he bite you, Clam?
You see my fingers?
No.
Then he bit me. That's all right. Now, come on, dog. That's enough. In the cage you go. Hey, Pickens, let me out of here, will you? always are fond of dogs, and Junior's no exception. So, Harriet, you be my mother, and I'll be the mean little dog fancier.
Junior, where are you?
I'm upstairs, Mummy.
Where?
I'm downstairs, Mummy.
Oh, I'm glad there's only one of you.
Hey, where'd I come from, Mummy? Huh?
I knew I'd send you back.
Can I go play?
Well, hadn't you better wash before you go out?
Well, gee, if you had your way, the way you make me wash all the time, won't be long I'll have no skin. All the skin will be washed off. What's going to hold me together, then?
Well, don't worry about it. Those skinless sausages are doing all right.
Well, you ain't going to smear me with mustard, I'll tell you that.
Oh, go on outside and play.
Okay, I will go play. I go. Oh, look what's across the street. Look at that little puppy dog. Come here, doggy. Come here. Boy, you sure is cute, boy. Where'd you get that short tail? You look like somebody give you a GI tail cut. No You sure is a nice little dog, you know. I sure like you. Sure like to find my place. Oh, here. I always wonder where I'm going. Oh, here comes the king of the brownies, Mr. Fowler.
Well, Junior, hello.
Hey, how you like me, dog?
What's his name?
I don't know. He hadn't told me yet. What's your name, dog? What's your name? Huh?
Now, Junior, dogs can't talk.
Yes, they can. Speak to me. Yeah, he spoke.
Nonsense. He just barks. You can't understand him.
Well, you understand your brownies, and they don't even bark. They don't.
Bark? No. But they do talk. Really? For instance, this morning they told me that a certain little boy let all the air out of my tires.
No.
Yes.
Did they mention any names?
I believe they did.
No.
Yes.
Anybody we know?
Yes. And if it ever happens again, you'll get the worst spanking you've ever had. Do you understand?
I got the general idea, kiddo. Yeah. Hey, how you like me, dog, huh?
Junior, did you know that this dog has no license?
Really?
The dog catcher picks up little pups without license.
Well, then I will buy him a license.
They cost $2.
Well, then you buy him a license.
But he's not my animal.
Well, I'll sell him to you for $2.
Oh, that's silly. You'll have the money for the dog tag, but you won't have your dog.
I'll get him back.
But how?
I can whistle, I can.
But that's cheating. And you wouldn't do a thing like that now, would you?
He sounds like a new man around here. Oh, here comes Mr. Meunier, old Mount Whitney with legs. Look at him. Hiya, Fatso.
Well, Junior, where did you get the dog?
Me mummy gave him to me. Of course, she don't notice yet, she does. Now, careful, Fatso. Don't get too close. He might bite you. He ain't seen that much meat in a long time.
He certainly is a cute little fellow. Are you sure he's the right sort of dog for you?
Yeah, he's good dog.
He doesn't look like more than a mongrel to me.
You should have a thoroughbred dog, Junior.
Yes, a French poodle.
You mean one of them little dogs with a bare midriff?
Yes.
Little ears and eyes like buttons.
That's right.
Real long curly hair?
Yes.
Wouldn't have one for $1 million.
Really, Junior, it's dangerous to pick up stray dogs.
Yea, I think it's our duty to report this dog to the pound.
Oh, no.
I agree, Fowler.
Don't take my dog.
Well, let's not upset the crowd. Maybe we'd better go over to my house and make the call from there.
My mummy. Come on, let's go deep. Mummy. Hey, Ma. I didn't know nobody out here in the kitchen. Hey, what you want, puppy? What you looking at that icebox for and wagging your tail, huh? Are you hungry? Well, we can fix that for you, boy. Look, you wag your whole body, don't you? Here, which would you rather have, a nice big steak or this pot roast, huh? Would you like some of this cream, too, huh? You want everything. Okay, there you are. Come on. Hey, you better have this butter to go with it. That'll make it go down real easy. Here. Look at that guy eat, Boogie. Where are you putting all that stuff?
Junior, what on earth?
Mrs. Dog.
Oh, good heavens, all my meat. That's the first steak I've been able to buy in a month. Junior, where did that dog come from?
Where'd I come from, Mom?
Never mind that. Where did the dog come from?
Well, here.
You get him out of here at once.
No, I don't want to. Oh, I bet that dog catcher the old Fatso Fowler sent for.
Good. We'll give him this dog before he starts
no.
Go answer the door, Junior.
No.
Junior? Junior, do you want a whipping?
Oh, if you put it that way, I'll go see who's at the door. Well, welcome to Hobby Lobby.
I'm from the city pound. I was told you have a stray dog here.
Hey, what's a dog?
Oh, you don't have a dog, huh? What was that barking?
That's me Poppy's in the doghouse.
Oh, hello.
I came to pick up a stray dog. Is he here?
No.
Why, yes. It's that little dog over there.
No, don't point at me, please, Mommy, please. Mommy, if you make me give this dog to that man, I'm going to report Pop to the OPA. No kidding.
Oh, Junior.
No, if you take my dog, you'll have to take me, too.
Junior, stop hugging that dog around the neck. You want him to bite you and get hydrophobia?
If you take him, you'll have to take me along. Please, Mommy, don't let him take me, dog.
All right. Wait a minute. Here's $2. We'll keep it.
And here's the dog tag. Thank you, ma'am, and good day.
Oh, Mommy, you know, you're the most beautiful mummy I'd ever saw.
Well, I just couldn't stand to see that little dog go to the pound.
Yeah.
He jumped up in my arms and started wagging his tail and licking my face.
Yeah, you know, it does look cleaner, no kidding. Come on, Puppy, come on. Let's go outside and go play, huh?
Now you go and play and see if you can behave.
Okay, come on, Puppy, come on. Look at that dog run. Hey, get out of my mummy's flower bed there. Here. Boy, he sure knows how to dig up roses. Look at him fly. Hey, get out of there. Get out of there. You're going to get... Uh-oh.
Junior, what's all the commotion about? Oh, look at my flower bed.
It's a mess, ain't it?
Junior, come here.
No, I didn't do it. It was the puppy.
You wanted the puppy, so you'll have to pay for his crime.
Oh, no matter who deserves a spanking, I always wind up with it in the end.
This is the Armed Forces Radio Service.
Enjoying the timeless classics on Golden Age Radio? If you're loving the nostalgia and captivating stories, consider supporting our channel with a tip. Your generosity helps us continue bringing you the best of vintage radio entertainment. Simply click on the link in the description.
Kraft presents The Great Gildersleeve. Each week at this time, Kraft presents from Hollywood, California, Harold Perry as the Great Gildersleeve, written by Leonard L. Levinson. We'll hear from the Great Gildersleeve in just a moment. But first, here's what a prominent government official said about nutrition not long ago. This official said that in times like these, proper nutrition is as important as fighting planes. Yes, we all need the right foods and plenty of them to keep up the pace our great defense effort demands. So you'll be glad to know that Parquet margarine, made by Kraft, is one of the right foods, and that it's so economical you can use all you need. You see, Parquet margarine not only has delicious flavor that makes it grand for table use, baking, and pan frying, Parquet contains lots of valuable food elements, too. Yes, wholesome Parquet margarine is a highly nutritious food. In fact, one of the best energy foods you can serve. And what's more, every pound of Parquet contains 9,000 units of important vitamin A. But just because Parquet margarine is good for you, don't think it isn't good tasting. Why, Parquet's delicate, appetizing flavor has made it a favorite with families all over the country, both for table use and for cooking. So try it. Buy a pound or two of delicious Parquet margarine tomorrow. Yes, ask your dealer for Parquet. Parkay. And now let's visit our friend, the Great Gildersleeve, and his niece and nephew, Marjorie and Leroy. They're trying to entertain a friend of Marjorie's, Oliver Honeywell, a chap who's taken so many pills that he's beginning to look like one. Today, Oliver is the man who came to lunch and stayed through tea and dinner. It's after 9 now, and a quiz game is in progress.
Good, very good. Now, the next question is for you, Uncle Mort.
Okay. I love quizzes. Let's hear it, Leroy.
Well, what's the difference between Niagara Falls and your friend Judge Hooker?
There's no difference. They're both big drips.
No, that's wrong.
Oh, is it?
The difference between them is that Niagara is a mountain fountain and the Judge is a legal.
Oh, yeah. Leroy. Well, I see. Now whose turn is it?
It's your turn next, Oliver. Boy, this one's a cinch.
Huh?
Can you tell us who was the third Assistant Secretary of Agriculture in President McKinley's administration?
Oof.
Oh, that wasn't fair, Leroy.
No, that's too hard, Leroy.
Oh, no, it isn't. Third Assistant Secretary of Agriculture, McKinley's administration, Lucius N. Follansby.
Yep, that's right. I remember.
It is? That's great, Oliver.
Oliver, that's wonderful.
Oh, really, it's nothing. A fellow shouldn't get any credit for remembering his own grandfather's name.
Boy, you had me fooled for a minute. I thought you were smart.
Yes, Leroy.
Next is Marjorie's turn.
Huh?
Sis, what does it mean if you say, throw up the sponge?
I give up.
Absolutely correct. Oh, right.
Very good.
Now, the scores so far are Oliver, 27, Marjorie, 19, and Uncle Mort, -2.
Young man, what do you mean, -2?
You answered one question wrong twice.
It's twice?
Now, here's your chance to make up, Unc.
Huh?
It's an arithmetic.
Arithmetic.
If Jones buys 50 bales of hay and 100 bushels of barley for $300...
Yes?
And the barley costs 4 times as much as the hay, how much did each bale cost?
Oh, my. Let me get paper and pencil. 50 bales, 100 bushels, $300. Mr. Jones should have bought defense bonds. The idea. Oh, what's that? 9:30. Leroy, I've got a question for you this time. If 9:30 equals your bedtime, and you haven't done your homework yet, how do you expect to know your lessons tomorrow if you have to go to sleep now?
Gee, that's an easy one, Uncle Mort. All those questions I've been asking you people are my homework. Oh, it's all done.
It is? You're a bright boy, Leroy.
Say, can we just finish this game, Uncle Mort?
Yeah, I sort of lost interest in this game.
I thought it was fun.
You would. Now scamper off to bed, Leroy.
Gee whiz, I'm not a bit sleepy. Why can't I stay up?
It's the same thing every Sunday night. First Jack Benny, then Charlie McCarthy, and after that trying to get Leroy to go to bed.
But, Uncle Mort, you stay up a lot later than this. Why can't I?
Because you're growing, Leroy, and I'm not.
No, maybe not in the same direction as I am.
Step up, Leroy.
What?
Leave Uncle's waistline out of this.
You leave it out. You brought it in.
Yep. Children, let's drop my waistline.
It's dropped too far already.
Yeah. Good night, young man.
Oh, are you going to bed, Uncle Mort? Sweet dreams.
No, you're the one who's going to bed.
Yes, and let's not discuss it anymore.
But...
That's all, brother.
But it isn't fair. It's not democratical. I'd like to stay up as late as everybody else.
Well, let me see.
Can I, Uncle Mort?
Promise to go to bed the minute we do?
Gee, of course I promise.
Then you can remain up as late as Marjorie and I.
Boy, that's keen.
Well, I'm pretty sleepy right now. How about you, Marjorie?
What? Oh, yes. I can hardly keep my eyes open.
Yeah.
Oh, I catch on. It's a trick to make me go to bed now.
You've made your bed, Leroy. Now get into it.
In that case, maybe I should...
I'll get it.
Well, if that's my mama, you tell her not to worry,
Yeah.
Leroy.
Hello? Oh, hiya, Pig.
You
It's for me. It's Piggy Banks.
Piggy Banks.
What'd you say, Pig? What for? Oh, no, Uncle Mort wouldn't.
Huh?
No, I wouldn't even ask him. Oh, it's too bad, Pig, but that's the breaks of the game. Goodbye.
I don't want to intrude in your private affairs, Leroy, but what is it Piggy Banks wanted to do?
Oh, he wanted to come over here tonight to carve out his pumpkin for Halloween.
Well, I'd have no objection to that.
Yeah, but he wanted to use you for the model.
You go straight to bed, young man. We're all going to bed now.
All right.
Well, in that case, maybe I should.
Yes, you should, Oliver. Good night. Marjorie, don't let Oliver forget his overcoat tonight. It's awfully chilly, and he might catch something he hasn't got already.
Mr. Gildersleeve, I didn't bring any overcoat. I didn't expect to be invited for tea and dinner, too.
Invited?
Oh, my. I hate to think of you going clear across town on the streetcar.
Oh, Midgie, the streetcar doesn't bother me. It's the waiting and the walking.
Yes, and in the dark, too. Say, why don't you stay here for the night, Oliver?
Oh, that's a splendid idea. Where can we put him, Uncle Mort?
On the sofa in the study. It's the kind that collapses into a bed.
Oh, no, thanks, really. I don't think I should.
Why not? I'll fix you up with a pair of my pajamas.
Oh, I don't think I could sleep in a strange pair of pajamas.
Yes.
And besides that, don't you think they'd be a trifle large?
Oh, come, Oliver. It'll be fun. Like sleeping in a tent. Yeah.
Well, I'll bring out a couple of spare blankets and a pillow.
Oh, never mind the pillow, Midgie. I'm allergic to feathers.
Feathers? Is that so?
Oh, yes. You know, I have it so bad I even break out with spots when I eat chicken broth.
Well, you better telephone your parents and tell them you won't be home tonight, Oliver.
Oh, yes, I better. Otherwise, Mom would have to send Pop out to look for me. Then she'd have to go out to look for Papa.
Well, I'll get the blanket.
Oh, hello, Mama. Mama, this is Oliver. What's that? Papa's been out looking for me already. Well, it isn't 10 yet, Mama. Oh, we want to get an early start. You better go find him, Mama. Try the place on the corner. Oh, not the drugstore. The place in the other corner. I don't know why he always goes there. I never do. Well, you just push open the doors and call in. That's all. What? Oh, I'm still at Midgie's house. Yeah, Mama. They invited me to spend the night here on account I didn't bring an overcoat. I did? I must have left it on a streetcar, huh? Well, I got my pills. Don't worry, I'll keep out of drafts. Good night, Mama. Poor Mama. You know, she doesn't seem to realize that I'm a big boy now.
No, it's very hard to believe, Oliver.
Oh, I almost forgot. Here.
What's this nickel for?
Oh, for the phone call. I never like to be under obligations to people.
Yes, I can see that.
Everything's ready for you, Oliver.
Yeah, go right in and make yourself comfortable, Oliver. I'm going to lock up.
Oh, be sure all the downstairs windows are fastened, Uncle Mort. There have been some burglars in the neighborhood lately.
Burglars?
Oh, don't worry, Oliver. Go right in and get ready for bed. If a burglar ever saw you in my pajamas, he'd put back everything he took. I wonder who built these windows. The Pullman Company? Oh, my bunion. Almost forgot to wind the kitchen clock. Somebody already wound it. Oh, excuse me, Aesop. I didn't mean to step on your tail. Now, Scat Cat, scram, go, outside.
Everything locked up tight, Uncle Mort?
Yes, a burglar would need 3 policemen to help him get in here. Excuse me, I guess it was the company we had for dinner.
Well, see you in the morning.
Huh?
Good night, Uncle Mort.
Good night, my dear.
Good night, Uncle
What, you still up? Good night, Leroy.
Good night, Uncle Roy.
Good night. What's that? Who? Oh, good night, Oliver.
Woke me up. There must be a fire somewhere near here.
How about let's go in and see?
You better ask your Uncle Mort first.
Okay.
Mom and Pop.
Hey, Uncle Mort, can I go to a fire?
What's that?
There's a fire somewhere close. Can I go see it?
A fire? Oh, boy, I haven't done one for years, and I just love to go to blazes.
Well, hurry up, Uncle Mort, hurry. No, not that door. That's the bathroom.
Oh, excuse me. I should have known.
This way.
Yeah, thanks. Now, let's hurry outside, or the fire will be out before we are.
Gee, this is fun.
Huh?
Hey, Marge, let's go. Here's Uncle Mort.
Yeah, let's get Oliver.
You think he'd be interested?
Sure, it'll be a tonic for his nerves. Oh, Oliver.
Yes, Mama, I'm getting up.
Yep. I'm not your mama. Come on outside with us. Hurry up.
What's wrong?
There's a fire, Oliver.
Fire?
Well,
Oh, my goodness. Come on, let's go. Right away. Out. Follow me.
Wait for us, Oliver. Leroy, bring Oliver's shoes. Come on, Marjorie. Hey, Oliver, come back here.
Where's the fire?
It's somewhere around the corner, Oliver.
Is it coming this way?
No, we're going that way. Come on.
Here's your shoes, Oliver. You better put them on before you wear out your socks.
Oh, thanks, Leroy.
All right, let's not spend all night here. The fire won't wait for us, you know. Oliver, you can tie your shoelaces afterward.
As you say, Mr. Gilder. Oh,
on second thought, Oliver, you better tie them now.
I might as well, now that I'm down.
Gee, this is the latest I've been out since the night I went walking in my sleep.
Yeah, well, let's take a quick look at the fire and scoot back to bed.
I wonder whose house it is.
Well, we'll soon see.
I think the engine's right around the corner.
They are? Oh, I see a lot of people.
Yes, there they are.
Gee, look at all the neighbors. There's nothing like a good fire to bring out all the best people.
Everybody must have gotten up.
Huh?
Oh, look. There's Edie Quinn, wearing the same kimono she wore to that fire last year.
Yes. Don't be catty.
Well, here we are. I don't see any fire.
I better find out what this is all about. Let me through here, please. Excuse me, lady. Oh, pardon me, Chief, but could you direct me to the fire?
Mister, I wish you could direct me. We can't find it.
Oh, well, it may be a little unprofessional, but have you asked anybody?
Say, that's an idea. Thanks.
Oh, that's all right.
Quiet, please. Let's have quiet, everybody.
Yes, quiet.
Now, did anyone here turn in a fire alarm? No, not me.
Excuse me. I was the one who called.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Beasley. Well, where's the fire?
Oh, there isn't any fire. My poor little cat is stranded on top of that telephone pole up there.
What? Oh, good grief. Madam, do you mean you got us all out of bed and dragged the firemen away from their gin rummy game just to look at a cat?
Oh, disappointed because someone's home isn't burning down.
Huh?
I know who you are. You're the man who does want to set the world on fire.
Now, see here, Mrs.
Oh, this is Mrs. Beasley, Uncle Mort. Mrs. Beasley, this is my uncle, Mr. Gildersleeve.
How do you do?
Charmed, I'm sure. Now, see here, Mrs. Beasley. What do you mean by waking up the whole neighborhood?
Now, take it easy, mister.
I won't take it easy. Chief, are you going to waste the taxpayers' money climbing telephone poles for tomcats?
Well, what's wrong with that?
Well, give me a reason why you should go to all that trouble.
Sure, I'll give you a reason. This lady happens to be the mayor's sister-in-law.
Just as I thought. Politics.
Hey, boys, get out the 40-footer and bring down that cat.
Thank you, Chief. I'll see that my brother-in-law hears about this.
Yes, and I'll see that the newspapers hear about it, too. I'll write letters to the editors. And I write a nasty letter, madam. And as for you, Chief, you're paid to fight fires, not to go sky-hooting around town all night.
Now, I've heard enough out of you, fatso.
Yep.
If you don't pipe down, I'll turn you over to the police, you big false alarm.
I'm a false alarm, you little brass pole polisher. Take off that fireman's uniform and say that.
Now, don't get so hot under the collar, beef trust, or I'll have the boys cool you up with a hose.
I'm not afraid of you and all your little squirts. You twitch a thumb at me, and I'll push that tin hat of yours so far down you'll have to breathe through a straw.
Well, now you have gone too far. Logan! Yes, sir. Here, hold my coat.
That suits me. Oliver!
Yes, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Keep off the grass. You'll get your feet wet.
Hey, look! Look, they've got the cat down, Uncle Mort.
Oh, thank goodness.
Where's the lady that owns the cat? Right here, Kelsey.
Now I've seen everything. The idea. Using thousands of dollars worth of fire equipment, waking up hundreds of people in the middle of the night just to snag a mangy cat off a telephone pole.
Here it is, lady. Safe and sound.
Thank you very much. Oh, dear me, this isn't my cat at all.
Well, now it isn't even her cat. Lady, if you aren't...
Uncle Mort.
What's wrong, Marjorie?
I'll tell you what's wrong, Mr. Gildersleeve. This is your cat.
Yeah. Our cat?
Yes.
Aesop?
Is that a hot one?
Oh, my goodness. Let's get home. Come on, children. Come on, Aesop. Goodbye, Chief. Thank your boys for doing a noble and humane deed.
Go back to bed, you big mattress.
Oof.
Come on, man, let's go.
I don't like the way he said that.
Too bad there wasn't a fire. We could have at least gotten warm.
Oliver, don't you dare catch a chill.
I'll try my best not to, Midgie. Wish I'd brought along my cold pills.
Let's hurry into the house, Oliver. We'll fix you up a nice hot cup of... what can you drink a nice hot cup of?
Water, if it's distilled.
Well, it'll be nice to get back into a nice warm bed. Open the door, Leroy.
Okay. Uh-oh, it's locked. Locked?
Why didn't I go home on a straight time?
Now, don't get excited. Don't be nervous. Take it easy, everybody. I have the key right here. Right here in my pants pocket. Oh, no.
No what?
No pants. I'm just wearing pajamas. Here, let me try that door. Ooh, no shoes either.
Maybe it's stuck.
No, we're stuck, Oliver. The wind must have blown it shut. Well, I guess the joke's on us.
I'm sorry, Mr. Gildersleeve, I don't get it.
You keep asking questions like that, Oliver, and you'll get it all right.
There must be a window around the side or in back that I could climb into.
No, Leroy. Before we went to bed, I made sure that everything was locked as tight as a drum in a bagpipe band.
Oh, wait a minute. We forgot something.
Huh?
I know how we can get in.
You do? Well, what is it?
Birdie.
Clever girl, Marjorie. Birdie. Yeah, come on, everybody.
Where are we going now, Midgie?
We're going to see if we can wake Birdie, our maid.
Yes. Oh, Birdie.
Oh, Birdie! Oh, Birdie!
Too many birdies. Let me do it, children. Oh, Birdie.
Yes, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Birdie, will you please come downstairs and open the front door?
Come downstairs. Open the front door.
Yes, I'm locked out, and so is Marjorie and Leroy and Oliver.
What an unfortunate coincidence.
Yes, Birdie, quit stalling and hurry down here.
I would if I could, Mr. Gildersleeve, but I just can't.
Why can't you?
Because I'm locked out, too.
What? Birdie, aren't you upstairs?
No, sir, I'm right here on the back porch.
Oh, this is a pretty pickle of fish. How did you get locked out?
Well, I just got home from a lodge meeting.
Yeah.
You know, the mysterious and bewildering orders of the daughters of Cleopatra. I'm the head Sphinx.
Sphinx? You are?
Yes, sir. And I found the back door bolted. You know, that's contrary to the customary procedure.
Yes, well, I wonder if the people next door have got a pass key.
Oh, they went away on their weekend.
Oh,
I'm getting terribly cold. Maybe I better go home after all.
No, Oliver. We'll get inside in 2 shakes of a jiffy. The only trouble is all the downstairs windows are locked. If we could only reach the 2nd floor.
I can do it. If you boost me up, I can climb this tree and then crawl out on that branch and drop down on the roof of the porch there.
Who do you think you is, Leroy? A Superman man?
Yes. No, I won't let you risk your neck, my boy. You're too young. I do it myself, only why ruin a tree that never did me any harm?
Oh, dear. Now, isn't it too bad that we don't have anyone big enough and thin enough to come to our rescue?
It's getting colder, isn't it?
You know, I can't help thinking what King Arthur or one of his knights would do in a case like this.
Yes, I believe it is getting colder.
Why, he'd leap off his horse, spring to the tree, and just swarm up to his lady love's window.
If I'd only brought along some of my vitality tablets.
what's the use? Oliver, why don't you go climb a tree?
Who, me? Midget, you know I get dizzy spells from high places.
Oliver, it's really very easy. You can do it with your eyes shut.
I don't like this.
Give him a boost up, Unc. Can't you see he's raring to go?
Raring to go home.
Come, Oliver, you've got to be brave. Pull up my pajamas. No, I mean the ones you're wearing. Yeah, now tighten your belt.
I didn't say yes.
You shook your head.
Can I help it if I shiver in the affirmative?
Well, now you take his other leg, Leroy.
Okay.
Yeah, careful now. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, grab hold of the branch, Oliver, right above you.
Now, don't drop me. I bruise easily.
Yeah. It's all right. I'm right below you. Now, just pull yourself up. No, Oliver, go the other way. You're getting out on the wrong limb.
Gee, if I only had my slingshot here, I'd head him in the right direction quick enough.
Leroy. Keep going, Oliver. You're doing fine. Oh, what are you stopping for now?
The string on my pajamas broke.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm falling. I made it. I landed on the roof.
Yeah, well, congratulations, Oliver. I never thought you'd make it.
How about it, Missy Witchy? Am I as good as any night?
Oh, yes, Oliver, you're wonderful.
Yeah. By George, for a weeknight, he finished strong on Sunday. Yeah. All right, Oliver. Now just climb in one of the windows and all our troubles will be over.
Mr. Gildersleeve,
Huh?
I've got bad news for you.
What?
There aren't any windows over the porch.
What? A porch without windows? I never heard of such a thing. Let me look. Well, that's one for Ripley. You better come on down, Oliver.
Oh, I can't reach that limb again.
Jeepers, we've stranded Oliver.
Is that bad?
Now what are we going to do, Unc?
Well, there's only one thing to do. I've got to get a ladder someplace.
And a piece of string.
All right, Oliver.
Oh, hurry, Mr. Gildersleeve. It's terribly cold up here.
Yeah.
The people in the back's got a nice big ladder.
Yeah?
Why don't you just pussyfoot over and throw the bar?
Well, thanks, Bertie. I suppose that's all I can do. Children, you just stay where you are. And Oliver, don't go away.
Very funny.
I'll be back just as soon as I can, Oliver. Fine state of affairs when a man can't break into his own home. Well, that's what you get for chasing fires in the middle of the woods. Oh, it's you, Aesop. Out of my way, you Siamese snake in the grass. Now, let me see. There's a loose board somewhere along this fence. Ah, there it is. Tight squeeze, Throckmorton. You should really cut out the starches. I wonder where that ladder is. It's as dark here as the back of a coal miner's neck.
Who's there?
Huh?
Speak up or I'll shoot.
Oh, hello. Don't shoot, Mrs. Beasley. It's only me, Mr. Gildersleeve.
What are you doing in my backyard at this time of night?
What am I doing here? Oh, yes, we were locked out of our house, Mrs. Beasley. You happen to have a ladder I could borrow?
It's in the shed, and the shed's locked.
Well, then, if you could find the key and kind of throw it down to me, I'll...
Nerve. Waking me up, scaring me half to death, and then having the gall.
What did you say, Mrs. Beasley?
Wait where you are, Mr. Gildersleeve. I'll be right back.
Yeah, lovely woman. A break at last. This time we're all set, TP.
Where are you, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Right underneath your window, Mrs. Beasley.
Directly underneath?
Yes, directly underneath.
Well, then, cat.
Oh, dear. There's dew on the grass. I hope Uncle Mort doesn't get his feet damp.
Hey, sis, I did it all right. Boy, that was a thrill.
Well, it's only a matter of minutes now. Oh, Oliver, it's only a matter of minutes now.
Only minutes before I freeze. I wish I brought a parachute.
Shh. Who that there?
It's me, your Uncle Throckmorton. If I ever lay hands on that Beasley woman, I'll kill that old cow.
Why, Uncle, you're soaked. What happened?
She lured me underneath her window and then threw a bucket of water on me. I'm going to tell the mayor about this.
Oh, that's a shame. But don't you worry. We'll have you in the house and dry inside of 5 minutes.
Oh, you got the door open?
No, not yet, but soon. Poor Oliver's been freezing on that roof.
He's freezing.
Yes, so I sent Leroy down to the corner to ring the fire alarm.
Oh, fine. Oh, my goodness. What'll the chief say when he sees me this time? Can't you stop him, Leroy?
I don't think so.
Oh.
In fact, I'm sure I can.
Oh, my. Here we go again.
Stop right here, men.
Okay, where is it?
Oh, hello, Chief. Well, you're just in time. Look.
Where? Oh, say, what is this? First a cat on a pole and now a guy on the roof. Who's responsible for this call?
Well, it was like this, Chief.
Well, if it isn't the taxpayer's best friend and the fire department's severest critic. Hi, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Yeah, hi.
Been writing any letters to the newspapers?
No.
Now, stop teasing, Uncle Mort, Chief. He's just soaked to the skin.
Yeah, and that takes in an awful lot of territory.
Yeah. How about saving those cracks for the fireman's minstrel show and getting our front door open?
Oh, is that what you want? Well, why didn't you say so? Hey, Max, bring an axe. We've got a door to chop down.
No. Can't you just send up a man and a ladder to one of the windows on the second floor?
Oh, never mind the axe, Max. Bring a ladder.
Okay. Say, Chief, there's a cellar door open around on the other side.
The cellar door's been open all this time? Oh, I could kick myself.
We could help you with that, too.
Yep. Thank you just the same, no. Say, boys, I'm awfully sorry about this whole thing. Let me make some amends, huh? How about you all coming in for coffee and sandwiches? Huh? Won't you? Come on, just for good old Gildersleeve. Huh?
Okay, sure.
Yeah, come on. Have another cup of coffee, Chief?
No, thanks. I've had 2 already.
You've had 4, but have another anyhow.
Oh.
Sandwich, Mr. Grogan?
No. I'm full clear up to here. Incidentally, I made sure that cellar door was locked tight this time.
Thanks, Mr. Grogan.
Well, this has been swell, Mr. Gildersleeve, but now we'd better be getting back, boys. Hey, you guys in the kitchen, let's get wheeling. Okay,
Well, goodbye, boys. Thanks for everything. And if I ever have a fire, you'll be the first people I'll call in. I like firemen.
Say, Uncle Mort, can I go out and watch them leave?
Sure, we'll all go out and wave goodbye to them. Come on, Marjorie. You too, Bertie.
Okay, Uncle Mort.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for the hospitality.
So long, boys. Don't take any wooden fire plugs. Yes, nice fellas. Well, let's get back in. There they go. It's colder out. Catch the door, Bertie. It's good. Oh, my goodness.
Gee, we're all locked out again.
Yes, this is where we didn't come in.
Hey, isn't anybody ever gonna get me down off this roof?
Oh, Oliver!
The Great Gildersleeve will be with us again in a few minutes. But right now, let me remind you that next Friday is Halloween. And if you mothers are the kind that worry about the children being out and getting into mischief, here's a worthwhile suggestion for you. Keep the kids at home with a well-stocked pantry. Yes, if you have plenty of popcorn and cookies and cakes on hand, you can be sure the kids won't go very far away. Now, to make popcorn extra good, drench it with plenty of melted parquet margarine made by Kraft. Yes, that delicate, tempting flavor that makes parquet a favorite for table use makes it delicious on popcorn, too. And remember, use parquet margarine in the cookies and cakes you bake. It makes them tastier because it's a real flavor shortening, not just a bland, tasteless fat. And not just at Halloween, but the year round, parquet margarine provides your family with wholesome, nourishing food values. Yes, parquet margarine is a highly nutritious energy food that contains important vitamin A. So use parquet margarine made by Kraft all 3 ways. At the table, for baking, and for pan frying. It's delicious, it's nourishing, it's economical. Tomorrow, ask your dealer for a pound or 2 of parquet. P-A-R-K-A-Y.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, our time's up. Good night.
Original music heard on this program was composed and conducted by William Randolph. This is Jim Bannon speaking for the Kraft Cheese Company and inviting you to be with us again next week at this same time for the further adventures of the Great Gildersleeve. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Exciting seekers, join us on a thrilling journey through the vibrant landscapes and diverse culture of Brazil. Lost in Brazil brings you to captivating videos showcasing heart-pounding adventures, mouth-watering cuisine, and hidden gems of this incredible country. From bustling cities to tranquil beaches, our videos capture the essence of Brazil's beauty. Experience the warmth of its people, the rhythm of its music, and the thrill of exploration. Click on the link in the description to find out more.
I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to Old Time Radio Research Group for their remarkable efforts in preserving and archiving the captivating world of old-time radio programs. Their invaluable contribution allows us to step back in time and experience the magic of radio history firsthand. Their link is in the description below.